Hello. Hey everybody. This is Kyle, aka Vulcan Wolverine. It is about 7 p.m. on, I think, Wednesday. I think I got that right. June the 2nd, 2021. I think I got all that information right. I think. I hope everybody's doing good. I forgot to put my COD piece on. I hope my attackers aren't hit. They'll sometimes hit me in the like right in the prostate, right in the. You say prostrate or prostate? The prostate. Um, but we got some important information. A new article that was sent to me by somebody really smart. On DHS, Department of Homeland Security. They're on alert for personnel in Department of Homeland Security. They're telling all personnel if they're hit by these weapons to let them know. In the Senate Intelligence Committee, the 130 people, all government personnel, please let somebody, the State Department know, or Department of Homeland Security, they say nothing about citizens because it's too many people and it would like all come out, right? The weird thing, and hey guys, hey Third Eye Justice says, hope you are doing well today. I'm doing okay. I'm kind of breathless. You know how they make it hard to breathe, and they're mutilating my leg, and then the mind control is pretty bad. We're gonna push through. I got somebody praying for me today, and you, Paul, please pray for me that God gives me strength of mind today. We're gonna kind of just be doing a casual, relaxed live stream, but still, it's tough. But we got a lot of hopeful information coming out. The thing is, it's like the hopeful information is a cover up, right? They're trying to cover up things. That's why the CIA and the Pentagon were tasked with heading the investigation, and that's why now they're handing it off. DHS is now concerned, right? DHS fusion centers do gang stalking and know about these weapons and know about the Zerzetzung programs that they're doing to citizens, right? So saying, oh, well, DHS now has concerns about this. It's another part of the cover-up, right? They want to get it. They know that this is coming out, but they want to say it in a certain way so they don't have to admit that it's being done to, like, 3% of the citizens in this country, probably more, Paul says, I pray for all targeted individuals all over the world. Thank you, Paul. Thank you so much. Yeah, we got to pray for each other. I hope everybody's doing okay. It's pretty important information. I've just been getting hammered, just been getting hammered with the targeting. But I wanted to just get on here. I may be a little bit not absent-minded, but the memory thing may be getting to me. But we're going to push through it and go through this important information. That's why I have one article, and if you notice it, we'll go through art. Let me show you guys this. And welcome to anybody else in chat. I want to show you guys, you get an article like this coming out, and it's kind of like, so check this out. So this is the bite right here. The Department of Homeland Security is investigating microwave weapon attacks, right? And then you get the same thing. It's like an online magazine. Microwave weapon concerns spread to the Department of Homeland Security. Microwave weapon concerns spread to the Department of Homeland Security. So you can tell when you get a release like this from the press that it's released in certain online journals and stuff like that. And I think The Intercept released it on Twitter. But it's kind of the same article. If you notice, it's going to be the same article because this is a lot of propaganda trying to control a dam just breaking and just flooding out, right? Which I hope Senator Susan Collins or Senator Mark Rubio or Senator Mark Warner or Senator Jeanne Shaheen or any of them can just, say something about us and then it's just out there, I don't know what that would do to their lives, but man, I hope that's coming. I really hope that's coming. So Third Eye Justice says, I will pray for you. I know it's challenging for TIs. The dew targets my throat so that it gets dry and start coughing. Despite these minor mishaps, we must persevere. Yeah, and persevere. Yeah, and I mean it gets like, for certain targets it's like murder. Like I mean when I wake up, I've been tortured so bad that like I can barely walk, and it's not like they're kind of bothering me. It's like they are doing remote neural manipulation to my spine and all the nerves, and it's like real murder. And you wake up and you're like, can I I've been tortured for so long, right? And then you kind of get up and you start moving around. So I mean it gets very severe. It's getting severe, and like my attackers want me to just stop. Like they're even putting stuff like I'm not going to go into that right now. Is it Charles? I thought that my the non-live stream looked okay, but the live stream still looked kind of choppy, but it does look a little bit better. I think you're right. I'm trying to put the light like not in my face so y'all don't see this reflection. So I've got the light like facing this way. So I'm trying to kind of make it look better. I hope you're doing okay, brother. I've been thinking about, and hey, Andrew. Andrew says, "What up? What's up, man?" Um, Charles was talking about, taking testosterone, and at first, Charles, I was like, man, that's not a good idea to take testosterone. But I've been thinking about it because you were saying that it like heals, the muscles and nervous system, or you were just saying that it heals stuff, and then I got to thinking, well, if you're taking testosterone and you're male, and they probably, we're probably off kilter with the targeting. So I've been kind of thinking about that. Maybe taking a little bit of testosterone, maybe healing muscle tissue. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, Third Eye Justice says yes, definitely. MDs consider that like rheumatoid arthritis, which is yeah. I think what they say is that it's like fibromyalgia, right? It feels like fibromyalgia, but the thing is, it doesn't feel like it. It kind of has the same symptoms as fibromyalgia, but when your ears are ringing, and my attackers have to have Dave Case's CD off, the ears ringing and the head pressure in the head, and then they can put body pain, right? Then they can send signals to the brain to send pain all throughout my nervous system. So fibromyalgia, there'd be no ringing in the ears. It would be like your body would naturally, your nervous system would naturally hurt, right? It wouldn't be signals to the brain that are artificially doing that, right? So there's a very concrete way, because there's extra things going on with targeting that are very different than just like regular fibromyalgia or even regular mental illness, right? There's extra things that come along with being hit with remote microwaves that, I mean, we can prove, we can testify to, and stuff like that, especially now with like, it's just a thing that everybody knows about. I do want to show y'all one thing in the article. We'll just start going through the article, but I want to say hey to everybody. Are you doing okay, Andrew? I hope everybody's doing okay. I'm really, really tired. And it reminds me of this. I used to work at KC Camp Abbey. So I was a camp counselor, right? And I was a senior camp counselor, and I would they put me with like 8 to 10-year-olds because like I'm kind of have a stupid sense of humor, right? I have a silly sense of humor, so I was good with the younger kids. And we would have junior counselors under us, and it was kind of like a frat almost, where we would work the junior counselors. They'd have to wash dishes and take out trash. We would be the camp counselors that like took care of the kids and brought them to the big fire and stuff like that. And then one thing that was very, very hard for me was we'd have to get them up in the morning. They'd have to clean the whole cabin, and it was like a competition. And then we'd have to get them out in line by the flagpole at a certain amount of time, and I was horrible at that. Like my hair was always like, I had just woken up, and my co-counselor was the one who was like really good at that stuff. But I had this junior camp counselor, and he was like Cajun, and he'd come in at the end of the night, and had been washing dishes, and like we just get him to do all this grunt work and stuff like that, and he'd go, Kyle, I'm so tired, Kyle. I gotta just shut my eyes for a little while. I'm so tired. And that's like a Cajun thing, right? Because we have a lot of people who talk like that around where I live. He'd be like, I'm so tired. And I think about that whenever, like, the target, I'm so tired. I just got to rest my eyes for a little while. Yeah, Vin Tanag says, we're not targeted. We're just the first to be initiated into the NWO. Yeah, I guess there is an initiation thing going on to the entire public of the Earth, but it's like, hey, this is what's been going on and you can't do anything about it. You know, it's not like an initiation of this is what we believe and you get to choose or anything. So I mean, it's instantly rejected. Yeah, Third Eye Justice. Yeah. We're gonna persevere. We're getting close to some things that can really help us. But it's like the stalling gets me angry, right? And I can imagine that the stalling gets y'all angry too, where they're doing everything in their power, right, to hold this underwater and just say it's governmental workers, right? Because they can't, like, if they admit it that it's citizens getting hit, then you're going to get thousands and thousands and thousands of reports from people all over America. They're already getting that, right, from us. I sent my letters to the senators. I hope you guys sent your letters to the senators. Your letters. You got to send your letters to the Senate, to the senators. That was bad. That was bad. Neuroweapon says something we should bring up and talk about more is the targeting of children. I talk about that all the time. I think that they target children in the womb. I think they mess with children's brains in the womb. And I think if there's a mother, I don't want to scare any moms that are targeted here. So you know, we need to talk about that carefully. And I just want to go through this article, and I don't want to frighten any mothers who are targeted who come to this thing, because sometimes my attackers can be very, very weird about, like, attacking my dog in a certain way. It's like they sometimes will give her more respect than me sometimes. So I think there are teams of people that are torturing, and they maybe a mother has some children, and they surveil, but they don't always go to the most brutal torture. It's still the worst thing ever. But I just don't want anybody to get, you know, scared that their kids are getting. I guess we do need to talk about that. I talk about it intermittently, right? But I don't have just a video on, like, children getting targeted, right? I don't have any children, so I wouldn't be the best person to, like, say my children are getting targeted, right? But it's a concrete, factual thing. You're right. You're right. Charles says, yeah, I am worn the heck out, but I feel a lot better. Still getting hit, but because I'm working out and losing weight, it is much harder for them to get under my skin. Yeah, when you're strong, your brain's getting blood and oxygen to it, your muscles are strong, so if they're hitting you externally, your body's stronger. I got to do that, man. I've been putting off working out and everything for so long. Andrew says, I'm okay at the moment. Been enjoying the info you have been putting out. Thank you, Andrew. I'm trying to put the most important stuff out, but I'm so wrecked. And hey, Cheryl. Cheryl says, Kyle, hello. I'm going to put something, I'll put that up, Neuroweapon. I'll put that thing up about, because it's really true. And there's even, like, there's a video, we can watch that. It's a video of a girl that they say was born with schizophrenia, right? And that's one of the most concrete examples that I can look to. And it was like on the History Channel. This girl was not born with schizophrenia. This girl was experimented on without her parents' knowledge, right? And her parents are, like, trying to take care of her and just thinking it's schizophrenia can be from birth. So they're using these artificial weapons to create artificial mental injury, not mental illness. But then they're saying, oh, these new styles of mental illness are coming out, right? It's a little bit like the new cancers that are coming out, right? Where they come up with all these reasons that new cancers can be, are coming out, but it's simply the the 5G grid, the weapons grid. It's our computers and smartphones, and that's why you get 2-year-olds who are getting, like, new kinds of lymphoma and tumors in their head, right? So it's this game that they play of creating this stuff and then going, oh, well, now we know that children can be born with schizophrenia, and somebody that's 90 years old can get schizophrenia. You know, these are new rules because they have to make new natural rules for the artificial stuff that they're doing. I don't think it can go on much longer because, I mean, this information's all coming out. It's gonna be common knowledge. It's just when is it gonna be common knowledge, and that's why we have to push. And what they're doing, it's coming out, so that's good news, right? It's coming out. Like they know it, the people doing it know it, everybody knows it, but then they're trying to say, well, it's just governmental workers, and we don't even know if it's real. They're all experiencing different symptoms, right? Because if somebody's hit with the integrated directed energy weapon system, like I'm hit, you guys are hit, but like our targeting's a little bit different, right? Our brains are a little bit different, our personalities are a little bit different, things that bother us are a little bit different, so the targeting's going to be a little bit different because they tailor make it to somebody's personality, body type, ethnicity, everything like that, you know. And this bull that they're, I'll show y'all the article, I'll show y'all where they say it. They're like, well, you know, we can't be sure if this is, you know, microwave attacks because it's presenting differently in people. But it's presenting a little bit differently because it's like different people attacking them, different integrated weapon systems, right? Yeah, Andrew says, yeah, working out really helps a lot. I gotta do it. I gotta go at least just start running. I bring my dog outside, but that's not really enough. Yeah, Third Eye just says all the oh wait, Third Eye just says they target my dog right at the leg or the hip just once in a while just to let me know they can do this. Yeah. With my dog, yeah, I'm telling y'all, I know that this is gross, and I know that maybe it's unbelievable, but like my dog will come and sit down in the room, and at certain times when I need to concentrate, right? Need to concentrate. They don't do it now with a video because like I would make a big joke about it, it'd be funny. But like when I'm alone and I'm like playing a video game on an important part or something like that, or something where I'm like I need to think, they'll they'll remote neural manipulate my dog to like fart right at that moment. And I'm not joking. And I know it's even hard to believe for probably targeted individuals, but they do that. They've what's really hardcore, and I love my dog so much for this because at first she had trouble with this, is they would remote neural manipulate her to poo and pee all in the house. And it had never, she had always been so disciplined with never, even if it was like hurting her, which is bad, which is why I bring her out. Like if I bring her out twice a day and she hasn't gone number 2, I'm going to bring her out another time. Like I'm going to make sure, you know, because she's been so good. But they remote neural manipulate her. At first she pooed and peed everywhere, but then she started to resist against it because she knew it was bad. And so they'll be remote neural manipulating her to make her try and make her use the bathroom, and she'll fight against that. So my dog is like fighting the targeting. You know, y'all can believe it or not believe it. Yeah, and that's true. With the defenses, it's like Ann says working out, I can't even get up to pee. I'm sure a lot of targeted individuals understand that. Oh, really, Ann? Do you use Dave Case? I'm telling you, use some of those defenses, the hearing aids, Dave Case CD, some passive shielding on your head, grounding, those important things, and it's still gonna be real bad, but you'll be able to get stuff done. It's like the defenses aren't a fix-all, but they can make it so that you can actually do things in your life, and it's gonna suck. And it's going to hurt sometimes. It's still going to be, the targeting's still going to be bad, but it can attenuate. Attenuate is the main word that we want to use when we're talking about defense. We really eventually want to get to 100% or 90-something%. We want this program gone, right? But attenuate. If you can even attenuate, think about it. Think about the pain you're going through now. Every targeted individual. If you could attenuate 20% of that pain, would it be worth it? Would it be worth it for getting Dave Case CD, noise canceling hearing aids, grounding, those 3 things, and then kind of work on some passive shielding or in an emergency a migraine cap? Think about it, because with just those 3 things, Dave Case CD, noise canceling hearing aids, and then the grounding, you can attenuate up to 50% or more, you know. So please guys, I know that it's not 100%. Please don't listen to people that are like, oh, nothing works, blah blah blah. Trust me, and you can listen to people in the chat and me, and we've tried this stuff, and some stuff doesn't work that good. Our attackers can kind of even use it, like the ZVS driver. It seemed like they used that field that didn't adapt, they started using it against me. So some things are even like, wow, they can adapt to it and kind of use it against us. But some things, Dave KCD, they've been able to get through it a little bit more, but it's never turned on me. It's never hurt me, right? They've never been able to use a CD to hurt me. They've just trying to get past it, right? And they've done it a little bit more over how many years? 2000, it must have been 2016 or 2015, so that's 6 years. What's the math on that? What's the geometry on that? Hey Tanya. Tanya says, Kyle, hello, they are attacking my dog. Yeah. They attacked my dog. Her joints, like she has, did I tell you all this? You've been listening to Dave KCD, Tanya? And no, man, you're gonna make it through this. We're so close. No. Every target individual, don't be like, oh man, like we're close to actually getting medical help and stuff like that. And when we say this, my dad and my brother now believe me. I've got those relationships back. Like it's gonna be kind of and you know, my brother's kind of just being nicer to me. He's not like apologizing or anything, and I don't need an apology from him. You know, I understand what you got to understand. Well, you know, that's not what you were talking about, Ann, but I'm just saying that's a huge, like, hell is frozen over that my dad and my brother believe me now. And it's like those relationships they went back. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, my brother and my dad thought I was mentally ill. They still loved me, but the relationship was different because they thought I was mentally ill. I got those relationships back where they know that that I wasn't imagining things. They're going to trust me more. It's a huge thing. These things can happen. Yeah, exactly. I thought you were saying amen, Paul. But yeah. Oh, your dog is, Tanya? Oh my God. I'm trying to think what we could use for dogs. I think maybe a good thing that you could get for your dog, and then I might get for Pepper. I think I gave the one that I wasn't using away is like a grounding mat. A good grounding mat. Put it somewhere where the dog where your dog maybe usually doesn't sleep, and just see, because animals are so smart. They're gonna go to a place of the most comfort. So get a grounding mat that's like good for an animal, right? And then just see if your animal goes over and lays on it, because that grounding is going to give them instant relief if they've got stuff flowing through their body, right? Or they got external hits hitting them. Hey, Jen. Jen says, hi, guys. I think grounding is the best for dogs, I think. But I think I said it on the last video. You know, they gave my dog, well, I think from the years of me being hit and my dog being around it, she's got the gout. And what the gout is, it's like really bad arthritis that ends up making like you get stuff on your body. It's like your skin. It's like pussy and stuff grows on your elbows and stuff like that. So my dog has like the gout. I got to bring her to the vet for that. I think she's got serious joint issues from them messing around with her with microwaves, and just from me being around her while I'm getting hit too. You know. Let's start on this. This is good news, guys. It's good news, but I may it's a little bit infuriating, right? Neuroweapon says I've been targeted for 15 years. Yeah. For me, it's been 2011 was the start of the overt torture. But then I remember back to like it was a different kind. It was like I'd hurt sometimes, like my vagus nerve, and then sometimes it would be okay. So it was a different protocol from I think the time I was like 12, right? It wasn't all the time torture, you know. And I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I'm so tired, Kyle. Can I just sleep? No. No, you go and and then we'd make them do push-ups and stuff like that. Like junior counselors. Like it wasn't even a frat. It was at a camp, and we were like making the junior counselors do push-ups and stuff. Is this the right one here? That's secure books. Okay, let me open up this article, guys. And I'm gonna have to open up my phone so I can read y'all's chats. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I gotta charge my tablet. It's just like sitting there, and I've just been forgetting to charge it. Here we go.
Sitting there.
Okay, so Tanya says coconut oil helps with the dog. Okay, so just give Pepper maybe some coconut oil in her water or something like that. I need to do that. I have treats that are like arthritis treats, but it doesn't seem to be helping her. It seems to flare up. It's like I can tell because she has these things that'll grow out of her elbows. It's kind of like ashy elbows. You know how dogs just get ashy elbows, but then it's like it forms into this spiky thing with pus coming out. So I think it's the gout, actually. Oh, you just get them to eat it? Okay, okay. Well, check this out, guys. Okay, so this is from The Intercept. I think a lot of people have seen this. I also wanted everybody to go and sign that petition. We'll look that up towards the end, but sign that. I'm sure everybody's heard about that. I'll do a short little video on it. I'm sure everybody knows about that. And, you know, we visited that petition. It was a petition for the Biden administration to investigate microwave attacks on civilians, right, in the United States. And I remember we were talking about a petition, what, like 2 months ago or something like that. And the number of people who had signed it, I think, was like 3,000. And now it's at like 4,300 or something like that. And like I'll check it, and the number will go down, then go back up. So it seems like somebody has gotten into that change.org, and those numbers aren't right. The numbers aren't right for the number of people that have signed it, I don't think. Call me paranoid. And, you know, let's change that word paranoid to I'm a human being, right? Like, we need to stop being embarrassed about being paranoid. 'Cause I've been very embarrassed. It's the worst thing for me. Like, the torture and the mind control and all this stuff, but like, throughout our lives, right, people that are paranoid, it's like, oh, that's like embarrassing, but like, being a human being and not knowing what's out there, not knowing how far these people have gone and stuff like that, we're just human and we're hyper vigilant, you know. Sometimes we're right on the money. People would call us the most paranoid people in the world, and we're right on the money, right? And that's the scary thing. But in any situation like this, you know, with gang stalking, cyber-placed agents, it's gonna be like, oh wow, as a human being, you do start to, like, you know, get paranoid. Paranoid. Okay, so Target at Michigan says melt the coconut oil and pour it over food. Okay, that sounds good. She'll eat anything. Like, if I just got her coconut oil and like just like got it so she could like just lick it, she would just lick it up. Like, she'll eat anything. Except vegetables. She won't eat vegetables. Okay, Neuroweapon says, I'm a physicist that posts on Facebook magazine Michikaku. If they, you're not, are you Michikaku? You're not Michikaku. You post on a Facebook magazine that's called Michikaku. If they will target me and steal information directly from my brain, they will target anybody. Yeah, they are targeting anybody. Like Dave Case, the guy who made Dave Case CD, named after him, right? Genius inventor, like a genius inventor. And he was saying like he's using the CD and it's not that bad, and the gang stalking's not that bad, but mine's like still really bad. It's because they look at him and they're like, we want to kind of keep his brain working, right? And we want to steal ideas from him, and we're not going to make his target. Well, you know, and he does know how to defend really well. But it's like with me, they're like, just kill his brain and everything like that. But God has kind of used it to expand my perception about certain things and kind of move forward on misconceptions that people have. Like, it's like we can use this as an opportunity, and I know that sounds insane. It sounds insane to me. Like, sometimes I say things and I'm like, I need to kind of do that because like this all seems bad to me, right? But man, we're so close to actually being able to flip around. Just think, all you guys that are like, I feel like I'm gonna die, and like I like this can flip. This can flip where you are regarded in society as somebody who has gone through something very hard, and we can get help with money and medical care and things like that. The tide is so turning. It's so turning. Been waiting for this like for so many years, and I'm too tired to really enjoy it. That's frustrating me. That's frustrating. Not really. I'm still gonna enjoy it. Okay, yeah. Target Mission said you need coconut oil too, Kyle. I spit on my phone. She said, you need coconut oil too, Kyle, because it heals the brain. Yeah, I'm drinking coconut juice and coconut water, and sometimes I will take coconut milk or juice and eat cereal with it. So I'm drinking a lot of coconut water and coconut juice, but maybe I should get some oil too. Yeah, and this is the deal, guys. If you're drinking like coconut water, you're getting more hydrated than just drinking regular water because the coconut has fat in it, and so it's sending it to every part of the every part of your body that the water needs to get to. Okay, so this is from the Intercept. Microwave weapon concerns spread to Department of Homeland Security. A memo obtained by the Intercept reveals that CIA bred fears of Havana syndrome. And let me read this before I get into it, right? Because I'm like, oh, and I'm going to comment on this, and before I even finish the title of the article, I've noticed that I do that. Okay, a memo obtained by the Intercept reveals that CIA bred fears of Havana syndrome, and it's really, directed energy weapon torture, neuroweapons torture, and it comes in many different forms, right? Because there are different integrated weapon systems using different parts of the weapons grid for different targets in the government, citizens in other countries, and it's every military industrial complex of every big country, and then they'll ally themselves with smaller countries and give them weapons in exchange for the data that they're collecting on the citizens that they're experimenting on, right? And it's also now we've got the complication, we've had it for many years, but it's coming out, right, that these weapons are being used in this operational Cold War, these spy games, and hitting each other's CIA assets and intelligence assets and everything. It's gotten so out of control that just everybody's being hit, right? Operationally, experimentally, overflow. It's just gone cats and dogs living together, mass hysteria. Except take the mass hysteria out, and it's weapons attacks. So a memo obtained by the Intercept reveals that CIA-bred fears of Havana syndrome have reached the department that houses ICE and CBP. Now, this is very ironic, right? Every targeted individual watching this, you're like, DHS they're the people that gang stalk us. They're the people that even some, like, what's her name? Liliana, right? A targeted individual that worked for the UN in New York said that Department of Homeland Security is actually the ones using these weapons on us, right? I kind of think that it's different in every country, but I think in the United States, I think it's a little bit different in every country, but I think in the United States you have the contractors that are separated from DHS fusion centers, they're separated from intelligence agencies, right? They want to do that for legal reasons, right? To say this isn't actually the government, these people just have clearances. They're the ones hitting us with weapons, but then DHS fusion centers uses AI to change street lights on us. They, all the people that gang stalk us, like, they're given direction by DHS fusion centers, and at the very least, the leadership in DHS knows that American citizens are being hit by these weapons and experimented on. At the very least, probably a lot of people in Department of Homeland Security know that the experimentation is going on. So you see, and we'll read the article. This is by Ken Klippenstein. But you see what they're doing with the Pentagon and the CIA being tasked to investigate, and then the next, it's like Department of Homeland Security is really suspicious about this, and they want information on it. So the organizations that are like running the show on this experimentation, they're putting the investigative authority in their hands, not to figure out what's going on, because they know what's going on, to cover it up and to dribble it out to the public in ways that they can stall this and figure out what they're going to do, right? So that makes me mad. Okay, Neuroweapon says, I'm not Michio Kaku. He lets me post my physics findings in his Facebook magazine. Okay, he knows about this stuff. Michio Kaku knows about this stuff. Like, he talks about all kinds of directed energy weapon physics. Hey, Artist Abel Lillian says, hey, just got off work. What's up? Just reading this article, Artist, on the microwave weapon concerns spread to Department of Homeland Security. U.S. government suspicions about microwave weapon attacks have apparently spread to the Department of Homeland Security, the nation's largest federal law enforcement body, encompassing agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement, as well as U.S. Customs and Border Protection, according to an internal DHS memo obtained exclusively by The Intercept. On Thursday, DHS Deputy Undersecretary for Management Randolph D. Alice sent a memo to department personnel encouraging them to report unexplained health incidents to medical officials within DHS or to the State Department. The memo goes on to announce that DHS is partnering with our interagency colleagues to ensure comprehensive public health protocols are implemented and care options are available to affected personnel. That's the part that we see that, like I was just texting with somebody before the live stream, and we see that they're saying personnel, government workers, right? They're very careful in their legal terminology that they're even putting in public mainstream articles, right? Because when they say citizens, it's going to open the floodgates, right? We're already reporting it, but if they actually say citizens of this country, this is where you report it, then it breaks. Then it all just breaks down, right? For them, and it's good for us. Hey, Laura. Oh man, my throat really hurts right now. Okay, so, but we see what was I going to say next? A DHS official provided the memo to The Intercept on condition of anonymity to avoid professional reprisal. I'm sure this person, no, this is purposeful. That's a lie. This was a purposeful leak. And I think they're even going to go this far, guys. I think out of those 130 people that reported it as government workers, I think some of them were hit by American contractors, and I think they're going to go this far. This is just conjecture. Excuse me. This is just conjecture, but I think they're going to start hitting people within Department of Homeland Security, right? That's why it was like, oh, these CIA agents are getting hit. This CIA agent's getting hit, right? So it can be like, well, CIA's getting hit. It's not them, right? They're not doing this to anybody because they're the ones getting hit, right? And then next up is DHS. I think literally they're going to get American contractors to actually hit DHS fusions, like DHS workers. Not just fusion workers, and then say, oh, well, they're hitting all these workers, so it's got to be a foreign country, right? So they're going to cover up the cover-up, and then they're going to have to cover up the cover-up, and then they're going to have to cover up the cover-up, right? It makes me question, I think Charles said it too. Charles was like, I think maybe the United States maybe even hit the embassy workers in Cuba. And I was like, nah, I think it's Cuban intelligence. I'm still not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if actual American contractors hit CIA agents in Cuba to cause that whole thing, right? To start the ball rolling and be like, oh, well, CIA agents getting hit, so it can't be CIA. I don't know. That's a theory. I'm not sure on that. But it's a definite cover-up. But at least we have it's like the cover-up makes me very upset, because like we're all being tortured. People are saying like, I want, this is so painful, I can't wait till it's, but till I die. But I don't want us to feel like that, man. I feel like we're so close, and I'm like that too. Like I feel like I'm doing the worst I've been doing since the targeting started, because it's been going for so long, and I keep thinking, I'm like, man, right when my brain just stops working, right when they put me into like a waking coma and I can't talk to anybody anymore, that's when this whole thing's going to be solved. But don't think that way. I've been kind of having those thoughts too, like, oh, my luck, it's going to be like, it's going to be so bad, and then it's going to get even worse, like right up till the end, and then when it's like I'm dead, then it'll end, but don't think like that. Hey, Tess. So the memo suggests that concerns about multiple symptoms following an unusual auditory or sensory event, in the past limited to the State Department and CIA, have spread to DHS. Very interesting. The DHS, the people that run targeted individuals gang stalking. Most definitely, factually, Department of Homeland Security runs gang stalking on people being microwaved to death remotely. Does Department of Homeland Security have no clue that these citizens are being experimented on by remote microwaves when it sets the gang stalkers upon them and lies about the crimes that they've never committed? No, I don't think so. Maybe the little peons in DHS that go around and they have, the mongoloids, but not the people up a little bit further up. In the past, limited to the State Department and CIA, have spread to DHS, an agency unlike the other two in that its operations are primarily domestic. Although some of its personnel do operate in foreign countries. Yeah, DHS its operations are primarily domestic, and since there wasn't enough domestic terrorism, they've lied about people like me and you guys, and they experiment on us with remote microwaves while they hound us and come into our place and poison our food, maybe put stuff in our vents, pour stuff out, steal stuff from our place. DHS is the one that sets all this up. And then, I don't know, Liliana said that DHS does have some of these weapons and is doing some of the weapons attacks. I can't be sure. I would say it's a definite possibility. How I have studied it and looked at the concrete data, it seems like contractors that are third party, right? Like not even really, Lockheed Martin and stuff like that. It is a third party contractor. It's not a governmental agency. So even Lockheed Martin directly could be attacking us, right? But they even want to go further than that and get like a contractor security industry specialist that even like Lockheed Martin would hire out for. It's about like separating it. They want to separate it from the government. Like they did in MK Ultra, right? Like the CIA got front companies to do it. So it wouldn't be put totally on them. And hey, Nadia says, hey everyone. Hey Tracy says, love from Tracy TI in New Zealand. New Zealand. I always wanted to go to New Zealand. Tracy says, I wish I could show you an upload of my burns on my legs. It's so painful. Make sure to save that evidence and copy it in a bunch of different places so your attackers can't erase it or anything. Okay, Neuroweapon says, my pen name is Johnny Bryan. That is my title in Michikaku Facebook magazine. Look at my articles if you're into physics. You might enjoy. Okay, Neuroweapon, were you in that conversation about scalar waves? What do you think about scalar waves? I'm interested. I haven't really been researching it a lot. Yeah, Dave CD helps so much. Like if I miss like a night or I miss 2 nights, the ringing in my ears gets so much worse, and the pain that they can do in my body feels so much worse. But not just that, it seems like the when they're doing remote neural manipulation, and then you feel just this. It's not even like thinking about anything particular. You just feel like you can't enjoy anything, and the sense of dread mixed in with a sense of fight or flight. It seems like when I don't use Dave K's CD, they can make that really, really strong. And I'm like, I think about you guys who don't use it at all. And I'm like, I couldn't. I would like, I would be a lot more negative about things. Like I'd be a lot more negative if I was not using Dave Case's CD. I'm even kind of, I'm not negative, but like, I want to complain about being murdered. I think I have snot coming out of this. Okay, so, excuse me guys, excuse me. Claims of mysterious health problems, mostly neurological, first originated among several State Department diplomats in Cuba in 2016. earning the broad range of symptoms, the moniker Havana syndrome. Okay, well, there's a real history of microwave torture, and in America, it started after World War II. Was the first thing that I know about is Project Moonstruck. Is it Project Moonstruck or Project Moonbeam? Somebody look that up for me. Project Moonbeam or Project Moonstruck? But it was in 1952, right? And then they built on that, right? And there were beginnings of those things, but I'm just talking about like when they started experimenting on American citizens. Project Moonstruck, 1952. What's the psychiatric book? The DSM was written in 1951 in preparation for experimenting on American citizens with these directed energy weapons, and then they've been doing training, research, and development from about that time after World War II, making sure that they have clauses, national security clauses, saying they can murder, experiment, do anything they want to an American citizen, but just making sure that they don't put that on the evening news, right? That's all. It's like all they have to do. Oh, what was I watching? I was watching a John F. Kennedy documentary, and Alan Dulles said, they said, one thing that you can count on, and this isn't everybody, but I think he's right, kind of. One thing you can count on is that Americans don't read. So any of our writings, they're probably not going to read them, right? So these people like Alan Dulles and the CIA and like the people up in the pyramid, they write about this stuff that they're doing, and they're like, people are too stupid, they won't read it, right? But we read a lot, and there are a lot of people that do read. But so I forgot my point on that, but that's kind of a thing that they're putting right out there, that they're gonna write about the things that they're doing. Just what they think is that if they don't put it right out on the mainstream news, then it doesn't really matter that they write the truth of exactly what they're doing, right? Okay, claims of mysterious health problems, mostly neurological, first originated among several State Department diplomats in Cuba in 2016, earning the broad range of symptoms the moniker Havana syndrome. Earlier this month, the Biden administration's National Security Council announced that it was formally investigating the reported injuries, which are said to have affected over 130 people. Let's try, like, just in America, like not in the world, but intense targeting where people are getting headaches and the ring in their ears. Let's try hundreds of thousands. No, because America only has like 400,000 people in it. So let's try tens of thousands. Tens of thousands just in America. Is that, no, 300 and something million. No. Sorry about that. Sorry. Algebra. Numbers. So hundreds of thousands of people in America are probably being targeted very, very severely. And then probably even more than that, we're talking like hundreds of millions are hooked into with remote neural monitoring but may not know it, right? Because there are more cell phones than people in the world, and they all get a signal. And this is a little bit more complicated, but as they've been doing it throughout the years, it's been getting simpler and simpler to hook into a human brain. These are things that we need to, like, people need, I know you guys understand it, but like society needs to be talking about these things just like it's common knowledge. The brain can be connected to with frequencies, with electromagnetic fields and frequencies. Okay, so that it was formally investigating the reported injuries, which are said to have affected over 130 people, while the CIA has developed a special team to gather intelligence on the reported episodes. CIA Director Bill Burns has also met with individuals who reported symptoms and briefed lawmakers on the matter. Senate Intelligence Committee Chair Mark Warner, Vice Chair Marco Rubio, praised Burns for his renewed focus on these attacks in a statement on April 30th. This is something I haven't sent my state senators emails yet because I think I want to change up the email I sent to all the Senate Intelligence Committee senators. But I wonder, like, and I guess I don't know. You guys can put it what y'all think in the comment in the chat, but like I wonder if they brought these senators in at some point and said, we are testing these. What would they have said? Would they have been like, we are using these weapons on criminals in America? Do you think they would have said something like that to the senators? So they were like, And this is national security. We use these weapons to keep peace in America, so we can't let it out. You know, did you think they told him something like that? Because if they did, if they tried to lie to the senators are getting emails from the citizens being attacked, and they might let it out. I'm really looking at that Susan Collins. She's a firecracker. She's a firecracker. I don't want her life to be bad, but I just see her chomping at the bit. She's very passionate about this. Tess says a reporter was on the Megyn Kelly show talking about the abuse of surveillance programs. Yeah. Tess says it seems like the illegal surveillance is why these illegal programs can't exist. Yeah. It is. Yeah, well, I mean, what people now have to understand with directed energy, you get a stream of directed energy, it surveils and hurts somebody at the same time. So they're like, well, we got to surveil people with microwaves. Well, it's going to hurt them, Well, it's going to hurt them, but we mean to hurt them, and we're going to do more with those microwaves, but we're surveilling them, right? So there's just way more modern things with surveillance. Really? No. Susan Collins, a Democrat. Lori says Susan Collins is under investigation for election fraud. I'll tell you what, though, guys. If it's somebody going after these directed energy weapon programs and this experimentation, I don't see Democrat or Republican anymore. I just hope that they're good people and are just, working on this. I get really, I gotta watch it too, but anybody who's like a targeted individual or anybody who's like trying to fight this stuff or anybody who, like, I'm just like, I stop seeing anything else. It's a bad thing, but it's a human thing. It's a human thing. Because I just think, I think this is a worldwide problem, a problem for humanity, the abuse of directed energy weapons, and it's everything else stems from it. If people can think more clearly, they're not muddled with nanotechnology that's past the blood-brain barrier and mind control, then a lot of these bigger problems people would think a lot more logically, and you could put those fires out a lot quicker, So, I think this is the worst thing. I think this is the worst thing in society. I think it, what's the word? I think it makes even child trafficking worse. I think it makes crime worse. I think it makes everything worse, right? Because what they're doing is like they're letting some, like, say my attackers, that microwave weapons, and we can look into people's heads and stuff. We're like freaking gods or something, and it makes people feel like they have power. They can just do whatever they want, and then you see a lot more like really violent crimes going on, flowing from all of this. We can just do what we want to people. It creates like a low resonance and just an environment where violence and injustice can flourish, right? That's what the top of the pyramid wants. It wants division, injustice, violence, chaos. Good people. It wants to, get rid of good people. They don't want any kind of logic or compassion to be talked about, right? And they want the kind of the soldier people. Like, I could take one of the guys on my thing, and I'm going to talk very not in hate about them right now, but just how they are. Like a person who just takes orders, right? An order taker, an order follower, and then a person like me, right? A creative person who's really not just going to follow orders. I'm going to speak, I'm going to go with the right thing, what God wants me to do, what that, all people who are spiritual and Christian, they're going to go with the moral thing, right? And the thing that the top of the pyramid split these two, get them fighting, right? So they're trying to kill us, they're evil now, right? But in a balanced society, me and this guy would need each other, right? Because I'm a little bit naive to believe in people on purpose, and I'd need a cynical, I'm not saying he's a good guy, but a type of guy like a soldier who's cynical, who just follows orders and stuff like that. We need each other in society. We need that balance, and what they do is they just kind of split everybody, right? Split everybody. I don't know. I was just thinking about that today. She really is. When did she have election fraud? Tanya says, I had drones over my house last night, attacked in my house. Yeah, and you don't even need drones over your house. They don't even need to put anything directly over your house because just like a cell phone, there's a grid, right? And like you have microwave towers. My cell phone's getting a signal right now from that Wi-Fi right there, but it can get Bluetooth signal anywhere I go, right? You got Bluetooth for cell phones, which is just pinging off of microwave towers. Now with the human cell phone, the brain, right? You don't just have microwave towers that can ping the brain in certain different ways. You got radar that can get in there. You do have drones and other things to fill in the gaps, but they don't need drones over you, you know? But it's a huge, you know, they can, I'm not even really sure. Yeah, I mean, they can shoot directed energy from drones. What I wonder about is if the drones are for surveillance, but we as targeted individuals see drones and we're like, oh, I'm getting fired on from that, but we're really getting fired on from the grid, right? And the drone's just surveilling in the area, but they're putting it in the specific area so that we feel like we're getting hit by it. I don't know. I think drones do shoot microwaves. I think drones can form a beam and can hit a lot of people in an area. It's like, and that's the deal. It's like you see one drone or something like that, and it's not that it's just going to be hitting one person. It's like it can, with the algorithms they use, it can be like a microwave tower is giving a signal to maybe every cell phone in this condo, right? And so it's going to be the same way with the grid they're using. A part of the grid can be targeting maybe 100 people or more, you know, with this technology. We know a lot about it. We know a lot being targeted by it, but there's a lot to learn, right? Like, because I look at how a cell phone works and the internet works, and I'm still kind of confused about that, right? And this is a little bit more complicated, but it's a weapons grid intertwined within the communications grid. You know, we know how big the communications grid is. Yeah, Tanya says, Kyle, I've been attacked up the street once with mom, 2 times on my own been attacked by 5G towers. Anywhere on the earth. I mean, anywhere on the earth. They may be playing around, like if you buy something, they may attack you to make you think it's like coming from that, but it's like anywhere you go, because my attackers don't try and psyop me with that anymore. I get in the car and they just hit me. They'll hit me sometimes just straight from the top, in the top of my head, and just wherever I go, right? But yeah, I think it does get stronger if you buy stuff like that. What's 2 racks, artist? What you working on, man? Oh, you're driving? What do you do? Are you a truck driver, man? I was thinking about that. Somebody else was talking about that. A targeted individual was saying that they're a truck driver, and they say it's very being a truck driver, it's like it's not great because you're getting targeted, but it's easier than any other job, right? Because you're driving around in a truck. I want to try and do that. Oh, I don't know if my health would be good enough, and my Social Security. I don't know. Turn the machines off. I love the name. Says Yo. Yes, turn the machines off. Says turn those poisonous wireless technologies off. Yeah, and that's something that can help. Is if we just turned off all of our wireless stuff in your place, your attackers are working off of those fields. Like they can get better, like a better image of you because they're using directed energy. You're flooded in directed energy, and they're making this 3D kind of image out of you using cameras that you have open, right, to complete that image. They have technology that can get a better pinpointed image of us, the target, with all of these different things, you know. Yeah, Tanya, I was just saying it, you know. I don't know, because sometimes like it's like I'll say stuff and somebody's like, oh, well, you think it's all like this or something, and I just want to try and like make things clear. I'm not trying to like, because we've all got to figure this out, so I'm not like, oh no, Tanya, you're so wrong, blah blah blah. Not anything like that. Just talking about it, you know. Yeah, I do that. I sound like I'm doing that a lot. I sound like I'm correcting people a lot, but I'm not trying to do that. Yeah, Tess says I think it's customized to the victim on what they use. Yeah. That's true too. That's true too. Because yeah, Tess is exactly right. Because in some protocols, they might literally be just practicing with just drone hits. Like, we're going to target this citizen without radar and microwave tower. We're going to do a protocol. So you're right, Tess. I've thought about that too before. it's such a just a vast array of things to, and you can't cover it all, right? So I sometimes do just speak from a, whatever. Yeah, Jennifer says they will still hit you while driving. It's bad. Yeah, they'll hit me sometimes. Like I'm telling you guys, when I was taking that Lyrica, it made me a little bit dizzy. But then they were doing something with remote neural manipulation where it's like my vision, I couldn't focus forward in my car. So it's like, and my attackers didn't give a crap because they're hidden. Like if I got into a wreck with a bunch more cars, and that's just like even that example, it's like just being hit by microwaves in the chest in the car is like awful, and you could fall asleep with the things that they're doing. Like they would try and make me fall asleep at that medical job. Now it's like I get in the car, the V2K is going, the ring in the ears, the outward hits. I'm not like in the car going I think maybe my body in my skin, it may be the grounding that's kind of keeping throughout the day because I just use grounding. It's kind of a cumulative effect on the skin, but it also may be that psychologically I'm so messed up that I'm getting external hits, but I've had to like ignore them a little. Like my body's had to subconsciously ignore them a little bit. This stuff makes you crazy, because being murdered makes you feel crazy. Okay, so Paul says, Psalm 60:12, through God we shall do valiantly, for he is that shall tread down our enemies. Amen. Amen. Really, artist, you got rid of your TV? I don't watch cable, but man, I like video games. It's probably really bad for my brain. Yeah, Turn the Machines all says, I picked the names since people said in the past who were targeted that there's machines set to attack us that need to be turned off. Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. There's a huge system, but it's a grid, It's like, but it's a grid that like, if my attackers in the automated system is working through an integrated directed energy weapon system, at least that, because they're doing brain to computer interface, they could shut mine off. They could shut yours off. But I think some people, it is completely AI and it's not being routed through an integrated weapon system. It's just being routed through the supercomputer, and it's a little bit different. In that they could probably pick that, whatever that the AI is hitting that person, and just say stop, right? So they wouldn't even need to shut the whole grid down. They can probably take us off of it. And like we've heard about targets who they've stopped targeting or not target as hard, and sometimes my attackers will like maybe not target me as hard physically, right, because I'm so long into it that they focus on the brain. It's worse. It's way worse. Like having a thought that could be yours, or a motor movement, because my attackers don't mess, like if they were trying to pull up my arm to make me like get up, it'd be very obvious, but they're working on the thing that makes me decide to move, right? So it gets even worse, and it probably doesn't make sense. Messing with the brain, it's been a lot worse for me than just the physical pain. Really, the FBI's investigating her? Did they just start that? Is that like just in the last couple of days? Because she might be, they might see her as a threat to national security. If she's a moral person and she's figured out that citizens are being hit by this, and she's showing signs that she's going to speak out, they would throw everything at her, try and discredit her before she could speak out, right? Even, dude, they're eating their own completely. I mean, and that's the whole point of this, and the evil at the top of the pyramid. They're going to start hitting people that work for Department of Homeland Security, that participate in our gang stalking and everything. They're going to start hitting them with microwave weapons just so they can throw off the scent, right? That Department of Homeland Security is involved in gang stalking and surveilling us, the people getting hit with microwaves. They're going to start eating their own to cover up, right? I wouldn't work for I tell my attackers all the time, and they're murdering me, so whatever. I've kind of gotten past like, oh, I can't forget. It's neutral. God, deal with this, whatever. But like sometimes I'm like, why are you working for these people that would just kill you in a second? Like they're not going to protect you. You're doing these awful things for them, so that they're just going to turn around, and punch you like a football. And we're going to be going after them too. Hey, what's up, Adrian? How are you doing? Hey, gang stalking simulation. I'm tired. I didn't realize how tired when I start talking, that's when I realize if I have energy or if I'm tired. Because I'm like so isolated. I did fix my grandma's oxygen machine. My brother called me over there, and like I had to fix the filter, and there was like a leak in the her oxygen, so I felt really useful yesterday. That's what I have to do to stay useful. I'm just real tired. I just took a bath. I took a bath a little, and I get the warm water because I'll sit in it a long time, and then afterwards I kind of feel sapped a little bit. Neuroweapon says, I did not attend the Scalar Wave conference. My specialty is black holes, quarks, and neutron stars. Well, Neuroweapon, I need you to study scalar waves and then talk about it in the chat. Because I want to hear a lot about scalar waves. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'm happy you're here, Tanya. Lori says $8 million Navy contractor. What's that? What's that about? Oh, an $8 million Navy contractor gave her a donation because she's on the Senate Intelligence Committee. Wow. Do you know the Navy contractor, Lori? Because if you know the Navy contractor, we need to look at that because they're probably either doing this experimentation and torture directly, or they're contracting out to a subcontractor, security intelligence or security industry specialist, right, to do the weapons thing. If they're paying her probably to shut her mouth. Hey, Nicholas. Nicholas says, hello, everybody. I just landed and saw your broadcasting. Good to see you, Kyle. You are awesome. You too, man. You're awesome too, Nicholas. We're going through this, this spreading to DHS Fusion Center, which is just, what I see is it's just a planned movement of them bringing this information out. Now they're like, DHS is looking into this, right? Because DHS is part of this. It's part of gang stalking citizens and everything. So they've got to say the CIA, Pentagon, and DHS, they're looking into this, right? Because they're the ones doing it to Americans, right? So they're the ones who have to cover up the domestic terrorism, experimentation, and torture to kind of go through and cover up and then be like, oh yeah, it was these other countries, right? And make the lie really good. Which, no, it probably was other countries' intelligence agencies hitting, CIA agents and stuff like that. The jury's still out on that, but they're just completely ignoring us. Really, Vanetta? Hey, Vanetta. Vanetta says the Susan Collins fraud investigation was announced when she spoke out against dues. I wasn't surprised by this announcement. And see? And she's a fine, like, and I watched her. I watch them all, right? And I watch Rubio. Rubio's a moral man, but he knows he's up against a monster that will eat his family, and then he still won't even do anything good, right? If he did something. So he's like cooperating, but I think he's trying to bring it along into something that can help us. I don't know. I'm watching Susan Collins, and she could say something. Like, she's very passionate about it. She's just like, this is just wrong, and people are getting hit by this, and it's causing brain injuries, and she's like, I like that. I'm actually kind of starting to like some Democratic senators, only the ones that are actually speaking out about this, because this is the only issue I freaking care about. Whether that's good or bad, Paul Abernathy says, Psalm 62:2, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. Amen. Amen. Okay, so, but whether or not Havana syndrome even exists continues to be hotly debated. No, it doesn't. That's false. It's not clear whether the information we're getting is correct or incorrect, Senator Jeanne Shaheen told Avril Haines, President Joe Biden's Director of National Intelligence. The DHS memo itself notes the precise nature of the injuries suffered by affected personnel has varied, and whether a common cause exists for all individuals, regardless of location, has not yet been established, right? The nature of the injury suffered, because directed energy can hit people in different places. The remote neural manipulation of the nervous system can affect the nervous system in different places. They would, be maybe using different integrated weapon systems to hit people. So they would maybe be using different parts of the weapons grid and stuff like that, like we were talking about earlier. So it could easily, the nature of this, the nature of directed energy weapon torture, experimentation, operational use, whatever, is that it's going to be a little bit different for everyone, unless you've got the AI specifically targeting, like automatically, or human operators targeting a bunch of people, like hundreds of people or whatever, just with the same programmable digital stream of energy, right? Like you had in California, where all those guys were hearing the same woman's voice, and it was pretty much the same, right? And it was like, what, 100 of them or something like that. I forgot the name that the V2K was using, but it was like an attack, and they were using, it was like one program or one integrated system they were using, and that's kind of hard to explain, because I think they can use an integrated weapon system if they need human operators, but I think it just routes through AI if you don't have human operators. I don't know about that, but I know that like you can hit a lot of different people, because we've had testimonies of that kind of stuff. Nicholas says, every time they hit me now in my videos, instead of biting my tongue, I say they're hitting me, so hopefully I can go back at some point and maybe identify something in the video. It is a 360 video. Okay. Well, check my videos out, guys, because at all times I have something going to my head. Like at all times. They don't stop it. It's a stream. Like I don't get like Dr. Horton and like I believe her. Like when she's saying machine gun type hits, like pulse. It's like some targeted individuals are getting pulsed, right? Boom, 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 boom. But then some targeted individuals like me, I'm just getting a stream to my head, right? So even that little thing that's like we're just talking about offhand right there, that's much different in certain targeted individuals, because that's going to be a whole different sensation. I'd hear Dr. Horton, like at the beginning, I actually did, and I always go through a questioning of everyone, no matter how much of a targeted individual they just logically are. And she was talking about machine gun type hits, and I was like, well, that's not what I'm getting. So she's just making that up or something. I mean, like it was like one night, and then I was like, no, it can be done differently. Right now they like to heat up my upper spine. Like they heat up my upper spine and my neck. And what you gotta understand, if you're experiencing that as a targeted individual, what that's doing, and Dave Case has talked about this, is one of the protocols is they'll hit you with a stream of energy on your skin, like say on the back of your neck, and they made me forget the word, and it will conduct along the skin up to the ears, right? So it's not like directed energy going, but they do that, right? But I'm saying they'll hit you with a stream of energy like on the back of the neck. Your skin conducts it up to the ear. It conducts it all the way up into the inner ear, Yeah, Nicholas says, I don't have the equipment to analyze the video like I can with proper equipment. Yeah, I think a lot of stuff is so expensive, But that, people need to be doing that, getting that kind of evidence, visible directed energy. This is Nicholas, everybody. There was what's his name? Okay, and I know I need to finish this article, but the Scariest Movie Ever did a video where he showed this guy would take pictures of wireless energy, and it showed it come in a school, right? And it showed this huge cloud of wireless energy coming down the stairs, right? Electromagnetic energy. We just need to find out Like what kind of there's certain cameras that can pick up wireless energy in certain frequency ranges. I mean, this should be due. I got to get on that. I'm so spread out doing, not doing anything, just surviving, but I've got a lot of ideas that I want to get done. Wayne says, I don't think that DHS is part of it. You will see in the future how far back that assumption set us as victims of cyber terror. No, DHS fusion centers are really big into gang stalking. Now the question is, are they just gang stalking and doing surveillance, right, and changing streetlights and doing these things, or are they actually experimenting on people with microwave weapons? Are they doing that along with the contractors? The question isn't, is DHS, Department of Homeland Security, involved in the surveillance and harassment and getting and working with the Sheriff's Department, InfraGard, and getting people fused to vehicular stalk? Because when I'm vehicular stalk, it's EMS workers, Sheriff's Department, city police, state police. It's firemen and stuff like that. They go and they get together at fusion centers. That's where they fuse all these different departments. So the question isn't, are they involved? They're definitely involved in the harassment and the gang stalking. The question is, are they also hitting citizens with weapons? Which I would say probably not the norm, but they probably have access to the directed energy weapons, just like certain people in law enforcement, right? So it's probably not the norm, but I think they do have access, and they can supplement and do things like that. But I'm sure about the gang stalking. I'm just not sure about like DHS actually experimenting on citizens like the contractors are. Now I know the Department of Homeland Security would definitely operationally hit somebody who they've claimed as a terrorist, right? And like hit them and do all kinds of operational stuff. It's just there are some questions about, are they doing some of the experimentation, Yeah, Wayne Law says the army of gang stalkers is all in our heads. It's all tech. That's what's ducking with us. No, definitely. And listen to me, Wayne. Listen to me, Wayne. Here, interesting name. Listen to me here. There is gang stalking. There's physical gang stalking. There are people that get supplemental income from Department of Homeland Security, but sheriff's departments are also involved. InfraGard's also involved. Many community watch organizations are also involved in a kind of pyramidal structure of their own. And yes, it's a Rosette Sun program, and there's many reasons why they gang stalk, but one of the reasons is, a lot of reasons that isolate you, but also if you're telling somebody, and this is just one reason, if you're telling somebody that you're getting hit by remote microwaves and you're also being followed and people are coming out of their houses at the same time and all this stuff, and you're being vehicularly stalked by one-light cars and street lights are being changed on you, then they won't believe that thing about the directed energy weapons, right? So I mean, I think you're right, you're not right, but I think we need to talk about one or the other at a given time. I think at the point that we're at, even that I'm not sure about, because sometimes it's just like, this is a Rosette Sun. They're doing gang stalking along with remote microwave torture, and it's different compartments doing each thing but working together. So it's most definitely, man. No, Wayne. I mean, you're completely wrong. Like, you're just wrong. But since we're human beings, if you're gang stalked, you will begin to maybe think that people who are not gang stalkers are gang stalkers, because that's our human nature. But maybe this is no, you're completely wrong. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be rude or be like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Because we all kind of are confused about it, but that's something you can't be confused about. DHS fusion centers, InfraGard, Sheriff's Department, they are doing these community watch programs. They're breaking into people's homes. They are doing gang stalking. However, I'll give you this, Wayne. I'll say this. Maybe you are not being gang stalked, because I've talked to some targeted individuals that get a lot of the heavy weapons attacks and stuff like that but they were like, I don't notice gang stalking, right? So there's some protocols, right? And that's what you would be speaking from, right? If you weren't being gang stalked and you had this technology mess, you're getting hit with this technology, remote neural manipulation, and then sometimes they make you paranoid that you are being gang stalked, but you're not. They haven't put you in the like DHS Fusion Center isn't doing it to you physically. You might think that, right? That's why they have all these different little scenarios that are different, so that it can be like, oh no, there's no gang stalking, there is gang stalking, what up? You know, I'll read what you say though. I mean, you don't need to shake your head or whatever. Yeah, it's all kinds of crime. No, I'm sorry, man. I mean, you're wrong. Like, but maybe you're right for you. Maybe you're right for you, and because I don't want to, I'm not trying to be like, oh, blah blah, but you know, let's do this. It's just, you know, we'll just kind of go, we'll look it up, you know, so we don't have to even. Let's see. But yeah, completely gang stalking does exist, but I've talked to a lot of targeted individuals that maybe they didn't get gang stalking in the past, but now they have, or they just don't, in their protocol, you know, they decided not to gang stalk for whatever reason, you know, for whatever reason. But let's do this. What do you think they do? What do you think DHS fusion centers do? Do you think they just fuse all, like, the fire department and EMS workers and everything like that, and then do what? What do you think they do? Do you think they just set up the FFs every once in a while for the mass shooters? Or, I mean, they've got to do other stuff in the meantime. They've got to be doing stuff all the time. When they're turning a nation, they're trying to turn it into this, like, communist technocracy. They've got to make the people that are, like, kind of the part of the authority, they've got to run them around and let them know that they'll point them to the enemies. Don't even think. 24 hours a day. 24 hours a day, right? I'm not trying to argue with you. You're wrong. Like, I'm not arguing with you whatsoever. You're just completely wrong. I'm trying not to be rude, but I don't know. Like, we're so close. I can't do this anymore with people. You know. Okay, so you're a person that doesn't believe it's the government either. Okay, so Wayne says, I don't, but it, and mark my words, maybe I'm the only victim that doesn't believe that it is the government, and I get B2K. Yeah, Tess says the gang stalking is to discredit someone, different than cyber torture. Yeah, and there's a lot of reasons. Tess is right. There's a lot of reasons for the gang stalking. Also, what Brian too talks about, to verify physically that what your remote neural manipulation microwave attackers are making you do, or where you're going, they verify you visually, because they have to do this for, like, whatever their scientific protocols, you know. And I'm sorry, Wayne, and I'm sorry if I'm rude or whatever. I'm sorry if I'm being rude. I'm not trying to be, but I've got to, on some of these things, we're not talking about them anymore. Like, this isn't a place where you're going to come and be like, hey, I just don't believe in gang stalk. I'll just be like, no, that's not true, because we're getting so close, right? But maybe, like, I mean, you're welcome here and stuff like that, and just disagreeing is okay. But I can't, some things I'm like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. This is a definite, right? Fusion centers are state-owned and operated centers that serve as focal points in states and major urban areas for receipt, analysis, gathering, and sharing of threat-related information between state, local, tribal, and territorial, federal, and private sector partners, right? That's why you may have, the exterminators. I get a lot of exterminators because my attackers are trying to be like, you're a bug, right? These exterminators, moving companies, FedEx, those things, because they're local businesses in your area, and they have a compartment within that local business that will participate with DHS fusion activity for money given to them, federal money to vehicular stalk and do things to innocent citizens being tortured to death. It's definitely true. Like, it's definitely true. Like 100 million %, you know. That's true, Tanya. That's true. Tanya says everyone is getting different. Well, I mean, everybody's getting kind of a different protocol, but it's not going to be that much. They're doing different things with the weapons, but different gang stalkers, yes. And some people don't get gang stalked, guys. Like I would probably guarantee you, like Wayne, I would say probably you're not getting gang stalked because you would know. Like it would be pretty obvious with your microwave torture. People would be doing obvious things to you that you're like, wow, that person. Like, okay, let me give you an example. Like last night at 2:10 in the morning, I had to go walk Pepper, right? So I walk out of my. This is 2:10 at night. Nobody's going anywhere, and I walk out my door, and at the same exact time, there's what do you call it? What's the politically correct term? There's two women that are dating that live there, right? And right as I'm walking out the door, right, I have Pepper and this girl that lives on the corner. The two girls that live on the corner, they have this huge German Shepherd. So right as I walk out the door, she's opening her door and walking out at the exact second, to the exact second. And so I like kind of just sped up because I just want it to go out there, and I try and avoid any of my gang stalkers because even if you say hi or anything, they're so they've got crap in their heads and lies. So if you're like, hey, how you doing? They'd be like, oh yeah. If you're like looking physically like you've been hurt by the microwaves, they'll just some excuse or justification that you're bad, right? So I try and just avoid completely. But down to the second, like 2:10 in the morning, I'm walking Pepper out the door. She's opening her door and she's walking out to come out after me, you know. And I didn't even talk to her or anything like that. It's very, very. But the thing is, and I shouldn't like I'm not trying to. I just am not trying to insult you, Wayne, at all. I could definitely see if I was not gang stalked. Well, I would have probably looked it up though. But I could see how that could I could see that man, that sounded like an insult. Like I'm not trying to be an ass. If I wasn't gang stalked, I could see how I could probably be like, no, it's all the technology, right? And check this out. So this is let's get away from like even looking like I'm trying to insult another targeted individual here. But Dave Case doesn't believe in gang stalking. So, and he's brilliant, because I don't think he gets gang stalking. Yeah. No, not cameras. I'll tell you what I think it is, Tanya. Tanya says, Kyle, you got cameras in your place, sickos watching you. What I think it is, and this is a not a this is a an educated theory, is that our microwave attackers get radar surveillance on us, right? And then they'll use our webcams and stuff like that. Maybe some targeted individuals get cameras put in their place, but I don't think it's very common because they can get caught like that. You can find those cameras, right? So they're going to use your cameras. And even that smart TV I have right in front of me right there, there's no camera showing on it, but inside that smart TV, behind that screen, there's a camera that looks at me, right? Like that I know there's a camera in that smart TV. I can't really cover it up because the camera's somewhere behind the screen. They're doing smart appliances like that. So what I figure is that they'll take some of this surveillance from like your smart TV or your camera of you doing something personal or maybe something weird in your place. Like, I don't know. I mean, like playing a video game without your pants on. I like to do that sometimes. That's kind of just a joke, but just anything that would make them kind of like, oh, and they may take a little snippet of that, make sure that they're clear with DHS fusion centers, and show them some surveillance, people like that. I don't know. We're talking about all this stuff that's a lot of conjecture to it, but the big thing is that gang stalking does exist, Swedish Bulldog says you were either reading her mind or she was reading yours. One of you had thoughts about going outside and the other read your mind. I think that may be true sometimes. There may be some remote neural manipulation stuff that may go on in certain occasions, but I think with this occasion, these young women work for DHS Fusion. They've signed up with that. They don't gang stalk me all the time, but she'll get a text, right? she'll get a text and she'll go out. She'll try and time it. Just like you have people that do noise campaigns and stuff like that around you, they're going to try and time it at certain times, right? Who do you? Well, let me ask you this, Wayne. This is the question. I'll read what you said because I think we're pretty much. Let me read a little bit more of this article real quick. Did I even share the screen? I didn't even share the screen. I've just been sitting here like this. I opened up the DHS Fusion Center thing. What am I doing? I looked it up and I didn't show y'all. I just sat there. Like I literally forgot to share the screen, right? Well, this is what I'd ask you. So Wayne says, Kyle, got a question for you. Everyone in here, what all are we going to do if it turns out it's not the government? And like I said, we were forced to believe that, and that there's no armies following anyone. I don't really know what the last part of that means, but who's doing it then? Give me some logic and common sense about who's doing it and how it's world organized under every military industrial complex. If you can and explain away Air Force Research Laboratory giving out millions and millions of dollars in contracts for human experimentation with microwaves, right? This information, I made videos, they tell what they're doing. It's just not on the mainstream news. These contractors say that they are experimenting on human beings. They just don't say that it's American citizens, right? These fruit flies are nuts. I look like a nutball with these fruit flies. Tell me who you think is doing it, Wayne. Like, tell me who you think is doing it. And then, I mean, because give me some kind of common sense logic. Why are the Pentagon and the CIA acting like they have no idea? If it were a bunch of rogue criminals, why wouldn't the Pentagon go, oh, we know what this is because we're building these things for defense. And people have got them, and they're hitting citizens, and they're hitting government workers. They're directed energy weapons, and we have been building them, and we know about them, and we are going to locate them. Why is the Pentagon and the CIA, and now DHS, not going to do that? Why are they not going to say, well, we know what these things are? Because if rogue criminals have these weapons, right, how does the Pentagon have them? Like, how does the Pentagon not have them, is what I mean. You know? Hey, Sleeping Beauty. I don't know if I said hey to you earlier. I really don't remember. Yeah, Vanetta says, Kyle's right. They use your smart TV, smartphone, smoke alarm, tablet. And what I would recommend to everybody, cover up your phone camera, your web camera. Don't have it on your computer. Cover up your web camera on your computer. Cover up every camera to any smart device that you can. And you're still going to have 2 or 3 that you haven't found. You're still going to have 2 or 3 like behind screens and stuff. I would even think that I think this too. I don't think this. Like, I can look it up probably. That tablet, I cover up the camera on that tablet, right? There's a camera behind that screen, and they can see me through that tablet. No doubt, man. Because they understand. They're like planning in advance for people to go, well, we've got to cover up our cameras. Like, I mean, the NSA is surveilling people just naked and having sex in their homes or whatever. I don't know why I pointed to my home because, like, I'm not doing that. But I think it's interesting what you think. I mean, so I'll read it. I think it's interesting. Are you new? Like, have you just gotten targeted and it's like a new thing? I need to be a lot less judgmental on new targets. I think I'm very, and I need to find a good way to just, because like we're so close. So these conversations that I was having 7 years ago, I don't want to have those. Like, and I'm sorry if I'm coming off as bristly, spikes coming out of my hands. I'm sorry about that, but I'm done with those conversations that I was having in 2014. You know, this is all information that is right at our fingertips. These contracts that these huge departments in the DoD are giving out, right? The Pentagon talking about dual use 5G and then saying they have no idea what the hell is hitting people in Cuba. Like, it's an obvious lie. These are obvious lies, and we need to use common sense, guys. Just use your common sense. How is somebody targeted and tortured for 20 years, for 30 years? You think there's just some independent criminals that have resources to sit around and torture people? There has to be automation involved, which means that it's going to be governmental, it's going to be intelligence agency, because no one else has automated AI that can just sit there and talk like and do chatterbox stuff. You know, who do you think it is? I'm interested in that. Okay, so Wayne says, what if all that research got leaked and it's being used by other groups outside the government? Just saying, I'm just not certain of either, but I'm more into believing that it is not government. No, there's some people like that, you know. There's some people like that. I need to be more patient, but I'm not having those conversations anymore. Like, and that's not an insult to you. It's just I'm not going to be talking about that, because those are like conversations for a couple of years ago, right? We have the information. Everybody's made videos and had conference calls and everything like that. I'm even and you know, I'm not saying this directly to you, because there's people that I know are good and they're targeted individuals. I get suspicious of that because it's not using any common sense. You need to look into this stuff, and you need to use your common sense and say, how do they have this much money for so many years? How are they able to do such sophisticated things to the brain? How are they, you know, why are people saying that there's gang stalking? Are just all targeted individuals getting paired? All targeted individuals that are hit by these weapons completely, like if they were just hitting me with weapons and making me paranoid, I would have figured that out. I would have had 10 years like of this overt torture to be like, oh, you know, that person, like, they're not doing anything to me. No, these gang stalkers do very, very concrete things, harassment, say what you were doing the night before, things like that. So definitely, I guess my thing is I don't know why but if somebody's new and trying to look up this, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be rude. Swedish Bulldog says, I read the minds and feel the emotions of the person in the car behind me. You're reading your neighbor's mind. No, I don't think that. I mean, I think that with this brain-to-computer interface, they can do that. With the brain-to-computer interface, they can take somebody's EEG and they can put it on somebody else's EEG, or they can switch their EEGs, because my attackers can put their EEG on my brain. So they can easily do that, you know, and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe so. Maybe I'm reading everybody's mind. I read it. Oh, can't say that. Tanya says, the police and Air Force are a big part of my torture. They can see through your eyes. Yes. Yeah, I think the Air Force is big into it. The Navy, naval intelligence, Air Force is huge. Any contractors under the NSA. Like the NSA is going to be really big on mind mapping, because the NSA, National Security Association, is that what it is? I don't even know. But the NSA is really big on having everything surveilled, even the brain. So you're going to have a lot of contractors on the NSA, a lot of contractors on the CIA, a lot of contractors on the DIA, a lot of contractors on the Air Force, a lot of contractors on the Navy. I think it under the Marines, you're going to have physical torture because they want to see how it burns the skin, but you may have lucked out a little bit if you're getting I don't want to say that, but I think the Marine Corps, they do research, but I don't think they're doing as much mind control and remote neural manipulation. So we may be having the targeted individuals that are like, well, I don't really get mind control. There are some organizations in the DoD that are like testing to burn skin and stuff like that, and then they may be measuring the mind with remote neural monitoring, right? And like this stuff that I'm saying comes from just like looking at this stuff for so many years and looking at their own documents, right, and the contractors, and then what I'm experiencing, and then what I'm hearing from other targeted. It's like putting a lot of stuff together to make a puzzle, right? You get these little pieces in the puzzle and you see the whole puzzle, right? Yeah, Lori says they erase pics on the phone. Who would have that capability? They have capabilities. I mean, if they can get into your computer, just start hacking around, they have your credit card data, right? Like, I mean, my attackers, like when I put my credit card information anywhere, it's like they have that information, but they're not stealing money from my account. Because they know if they steal money from my account, then I'm gonna have that, who used that. I'm gonna be able to trace it back to whoever took that money out of my account, and it's gonna lead to them. Now, if you had smaller people, like say independent criminals doing this, and but it would look a lot different than 10 years, right? You may have some independent criminals that maybe hit people for a couple of months, steal money from them. Maybe they're people who are in these contractors who are now out of it, and they've taken some of that equipment and they use like supplemental ground weapons and stuff. There are those situations. So like, I don't want to be rude because there are so many different situations, but on the whole, right? In general, on the whole, if we took a big, like, what's the biggest percentage of targeted individuals? Who are they being hit by? It's the military industrial complex, and all of this is overseen by higher global organizations. So they trick these people, these Americans, contractors, to being like, well, we're experimenting on these innocent Americans because we really got to beat Russia out. We got to beat China. But higher up, and the people higher up in the Pentagon and DARPA and everything like that, they realize that it's not competition with Russia or China. That's professional wrestling, so that they can do this to every country on the globe. Man, I'm using my hands a lot today. It's real weird. Hey, Judge Judy. Judge Judy says, there's no way this could have been occurring for this long without intelligence, CIA not knowing about it. Yeah. So they either are doing it or aren't, but know and are letting it happen. Pick your poison, right? Yeah, you couldn't have the CIA not knowing about this. But then you look at MK Ultra, which CIA carried out with front companies, and this fits that, but just with directed energy weapons. So they've already done it. Like, it's already been outed in history that these intelligence agencies did things like this, right? Governments have always been experimenting on their people since the countries were developed, right? People have always been horrifyingly horrible to each other, right, throughout human history. Don't let that get you down. Like, I know that this targeting gets us down. It goes so much further. Like, I'm so far behind on my phone. Cheryl says the right organizations can get a hold of the weapons besides the government. So, I guess then you'd have a couple of situations that maybe would last like a month or two. If they're getting revenge, like who's going to sit there for 10 years? Like, what just individual person is going to sit there for 10 years? Like, that's what I get frustrated about. These people, it's their job. This is their job. Like, and for the first couple of years, they were like, we got to get him out of here. We're his neighbors, blah, blah. They didn't say we're his neighbors, but they're like, this jerk did this, blah, blah, trying to make me think it was about vengeance, right? But they, like, from the very beginning, the people in the area who may be mad at you, they're not the ones doing it. They pass it off, and they may use supplemental weapons and things like that. I don't know, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Just as long as I'm not rude to anybody. I don't want to be rude to you, Wayne, you know. Because it just depends on what you're going through, what kind of prism you see it through. But that's why we have to use common sense and go through the information that they're writing, right? That's why I was doing all these videos about the contractors talking about these directed energy weapons, you know. On this kind of scale, it's not going to be independent criminals. I know that there's a plan, right? There's a plan to have this narrative of, like, we don't know who's doing it, right? Like, to keep that going. Because if they can say we don't know who's doing it right now, you see how they're going, we don't even know if it's weapons, right? It stalls. It keeps the kids who are being tortured dying. It keeps us being tortured. It's a stall tactic. Well, we don't know. No, that was 2 years ago. Targeted individuals have been building on that knowledge. I don't understand why we go round and around like in a washing machine. That shouldn't be happening. Like, that should not be happening. Like, we should be building on the information that people have put out. Maybe people just aren't getting to that information. It's really frustrating. I'm sorry if I'm being rude. It's very frustrating. I just don't like, whatever. Sleeping Beauty says, I cover my cameras. I know people that are not targeted that cover their cameras and television. Yeah, definitely. Because the NSA, like even people who are not targeted by like microwaves and stuff, the NSA will watch in and surveil them. So you have some people who are not remote neural monitored, they're not targeted, but the NSA is still looking in on their devices, right? They had this funny Ryan Long. I may show that one day. I don't. It's very crude. It's very crude, but it's like how the NSA. I got that fruit. I almost got it that time. Did y'all see it? I wanted to catch it so I could show y'all. Tess says after you are poisoned or implanted, RF can be weaponized so anybody can do it. Yeah. And people do participate supplementally. We should be past this, guys. The big thing that we're trying to stop is, and you hear what I say, right? How they're doing it. They're getting third-party contractors to do the murder and the experimentation because they want to separate it from the government. Y'all hear what I'm saying here? So when we say just the government's doing it, that's not actually correct. That's not actually correct. Now, if you want to say the government is gang stalking us, yeah, that's Department of Homeland Security. Technically, the military-industrial complex of this nation and whatever nation you're in, they're doing the experimentation because they get these degrees of separation from literal intelligence, governmental intelligence agencies, right? So if the NSA wants to torture people and not just surveil them, they contract it out to a third-party contractor so they can legally separate themselves. But that business, that third-party contractor, will have all the clearances of any kind of military agency. You see? So it's illegal. It's like a huge crime. It's like a huge, not just the microwaving of citizens and torturing them, how they are configuring this is a huge RICO crime, right? But they're like, oh, it's chain of command and blah, 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 and some people don't know. Yeah, and the deal is, like, and Tanya says, Wayne, watch all of Kyle's videos, but we've made so many videos, it's hard for people to find, like, the super important information, so I need to do some playlists. And I just want people to know I'm not, like, I get frustrated because I just think we should be further along. I know there's a lot of reasons that we're not, because this information is where it's hidden, where it's kind of hidden from each other on social media and stuff like that. But man, we built through so many years of getting concrete information, and I see a lot of people who are so smart. And I'm not talking about anybody on here, but I've had not dealings. I've crossed paths with some people that are way smarter than me, and they're like, oh, I wonder who's doing this. I think it's just some independent, And I'm like, wow, that's fake. Like, I mean, that's a narrative. That's gonna, you watch it. I'm calling it right now. This is gonna be a huge thing, and I'm not accusing you, Mr. Wayne, and it's not the other Wayne. I don't think. It's gonna be a huge narrative. It's gonna be a huge narrative of who's doing. Is it even a weapon? Well, it's definitely not the government. It's some rogue people get these things, right? It's gonna be a huge thing. After they get Russia, right? After they blame all the governmental workers, another country for hitting them, when it does come out that we're being hit, at first it's going to be, I think that could not the government, right? That's not anybody to do with the government. Then it's going to be, once that fails, because that will fail, because the truth, right? Because just something that's happening, what it is, right? It will come out, right? It will come out eventually, then it will be, these people were so bad that we had to do it, and we had to cover it up for national security. We're gonna have to bust down those walls. Like, I see certain, like my aunt, like, she is starting to know that I'm telling the truth. I don't want to speak for my aunt. I think she could be mad that I'm maybe not over there as much as she wants me to be for my grandma, but I think some of my family, I have some people in my extended family, one guy who was in the Air Force, and they all look at me really weird while I was being targeted, like they knew that something was going on. They already knew that this stuff happens, and they just thought I was like some bad guy, right? Well, they're going to think it even more. There's going to be some people like that who will just never, like, oh, innocent people, no, whatever happens, you deserve it. Or, like, it's not happened, it's not happened, it's not happened. Oh, okay, it's happened. Oh, well, then you deserved it, right? There's going to be those people. And we can't get, sidetracked by them or anything like that. Yeah, video games are awesome, man. I'm playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's a little bit too realistic, though. I like the cartoony nature of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It was like kind of cartoony and just had a lot of bright colors. And like Valhalla's like real dark and damp and tries to be real. I don't like realistic video games. I want cartoony stuff. No, Wayne. Like, let me read your statement and then just correct it. So Wayne says, and it sounds so crazy, but only time will tell one day this people will get caught and that's it. No, we know. Time won't tell. We're there. We're there of who's doing this. Stop it. Like, stop it. Like, no, not in my videos. We're not going to have that. We know who's doing. We're not stupid. We're not idiots. We're not idiots. No. No. We're not doing this, well, we'll just see when it comes out. No, we're not waiting for the mainstream media. We're not waiting for the Pentagon to come to our house and say that they're sorry. We're not waiting for that. Why are we wait? We'll wait and see for what? For who? Wait and see for who? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, dude. I'm getting really triggered. I'll settle down. Let's just read that article. But who are we waiting on? Like, these big organizations doing their thing, they're trying to cover things up and save their own hides. We can use that. We can definitely use that to put pressure on them. But waiting for somebody to tell us what's happening. They're going to try and cover everything up. Everything all these countries are doing are completely corrupt, destroying their own people. Like, what are we waiting for? Who are we waiting for? Sorry, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Wayne. You got my goat, dude. It's not that hard. It's not hard. Wayne says, all of those weapons can be mounted on a computer. That's how they tested them in the labs. Now it's all out of control. Dude, you got really extensive brain experimentation. I know I had Crohn's when I was little, so I had to go through these physical things, know that when my body was in pain, my brain would do this, right? I learned a lot about myself. These remote neural manipulation protocols are very extensive, using trauma to change white matter tracks and everything. They're very meticulous in what they're doing to the brain. And you may think that it's like some kind of, oh, well, they're just torturing me and just hitting me in the genitals and they're just having a good old time, because they're acting like Satan is having a good time. But what they're doing has a very specific reason that they're doing it. It ain't independent criminals, because the experimentation that they're doing, and you go look at Dr. James Udorno, look at Dr. James Udorno, Dr. Michael Hoffer, go to Dr. Duncan, Dr. Robert Duncan, John Hull. We have experts that have learned about this. Dr. Robert Duncan worked on these weapons, right? So he can tell you who's doing it. He actually worked on Chatterbox and AI technology for the CIA. Why I get so angry, and let me just maybe explain that, is that we're not stupid. And I hate just, like, it seems like for so many years, like, we just have to act like we're stupid because maybe there's some fake people in our group that are like, hey, never mind. Like, and I'm not saying you're fake, dude. I'm definitely not saying you're fake or anything. We're not stupid. Like, they want to treat us like we're stupid and that we go round and round and we're just helpless little idiots, with our brains microwaved. We're not. And we're coming. And we're coming. Like, we're not waiting. Guys. Like, I'm the biggest person who's like, hey, the Senate Intelligence Committee and the UN, right? But we're not waiting on them. We're pushing. We're seeing what they're doing and how we can use that, how we can push them into somebody else for them to know about it too. We're not waiting on these people to speak from on high. They'll cover their asses their whole lives and lie about this as long as they can. The people who are really in charge of the investigation and in charge of bringing this information out, they're gonna stall. They're gonna stall to experiment and attack more people, right? If this was not an organized thing, like the military industrial. Why would the Pentagon and the CIA and all these people be trying? And why would the Senate Intelligence Committee need to be held in secret? Why would that need to be held in secret? If it was just some people like, oh, these are just independents, some bad guys got their hands on it, right? You know. Oh, you're in Mexico? Maybe, I mean, if you're moving around a lot, you might not get gang stalked a lot, you know. And none of that anger was addressed at anybody talking in this chat. It's just anger. It's anger. I'm very frustrated because we're not stupid. Charles Hall says it's the government. Yeah. Really? Charles Hall said I've tracked their I guess that their ISPs. They all lead back to DHS grid. Yeah, Sleep Beauty says Dr. Robert Duncan has talked a lot about cloning thoughts and emotions with the hive mind. Yeah, they can put like my attackers, the dude on there, or the one of the guys, because I think they have shifts. He'll put like how he feels about other people. Like if I'm talking to somebody, he'll put like kind of like his thoughts about it and his feelings. And that's not nice. And it wouldn't be a big deal if it was like a week or a month of him doing it every once in a while. But years and years of doing that, and then it conditions me, a guy who had completely different thoughts from this gentleman, an animal, a satanic animal. He puts his crappy maybe think like seeing weak spots or whatever in people where I see potential. These psychos are like inversions of good people who want to see potential in people. They see weak spots and how to hit them and stuff like that. And I don't ever want to even think about that, like how a psychopath thinks, because like I am Batman to their penguin. I tell you what. Sorry, and trust me, I yell like that sometimes, and I'm not directing it at anybody. It may passively sound that I'm trying to direct it at somebody, but I'm not. I'm really not. I was a little bit, okay, I am actually a little bit angry at you, Wayne. But I know that you're just trying to figure things out, and you might not be being gang stalked. Hey, thank you, Sassy Kitty. Well, we're not doing that either. Did I make it like that? Because Wayne was saying too, we're not arguing or anything. We're just talking about things. But I don't want to even talk about that anymore, because to me it's like Ned in the First Reader, right? I bring that up a lot. It's this book that my mom I think read in elementary school or whatever. It's the basics, right? We should have the basics down. We're so far along that we should have the basics down. Everybody's capable of it. Everybody who's targeted is capable of it, Yeah, that's true. Trukism says it's quite easy to just stop and leave people alone and stop being judgmental and just help people. Yeah, do no harm. If somebody's attacking, like if somebody's a bad person, you put them through the legal system, right? But even the legal system has these huge flaws. You don't mess with this. It's like totally against America. Paul says, Kyle, breathe in really deep and slow. I get triggered by stuff. My attackers know that this is, and I'm not accusing you, Wayne. I think it was just a coincidence or whatever. My attackers know that when we keep talking about stuff that's like just blatant, you don't even have to have the evidence. We have tons of concrete evidence of exactly who's doing it and why they're doing it, right? You have experts that oh man, they took that from me. That tell the Pentagon about neuroweapons, like Dr. James Giordano, right? We know it, but it's not even that. It's just with common sense. You don't even have to have the evidence. You know what I'm saying? This is not just going to be the amount of the lengths of time. Do not go along with like revenge by a personal, whatever, and the amount of people targeted, right? The amount of people, and that it's in every country, right? Like if this was like some independent criminals, like it would maybe be a couple of spots in America, a couple of spots in another country. Like it's what's the word for it? Systematic.
right? This is a systemic thing. The system is doing it because it's so organized. It works like clockwork. If it didn't work like clockwork and it wasn't organized and it was very short-lived on the people that were experiencing it, I'd totally be like, we need to look into this again. This could just be normal people. But when it's torture for the whole of people's lives, look at people in the 1970s and 1980s. They died with people thinking they were horrifying schizophrenics, and their families left them, and they were in mental, and they were being tortured by this stuff. Now, why in the 1970s? How are some independent criminals gonna get radio waves and microwaves and torture somebody and make them look like they're schizophrenic all the way till they die, like in the end of 1980? Can't happen. It can't happen. Just can't happen. But I do think that regular people can get their hands on these weapons. There might be some of those cases, so there may be a few, but it's not what's happening, right? That would be an outlier. Like if an independent person got these weapons and was like shooting somebody for revenge and not making any money on it, that would be an outlier to what every target individual is experiencing. If you get what I'm saying, you know. But you know, and I'm not trying to oust anybody because tons of people have that argument. Like I see what someone, Mr. Miyagi was wrong. Wait. You know, a lot of people talk about that, and I think a lot of people come in and it's like maybe this is true for me. I've been tortured so long. This is so desperate for me. It's a desperate situation. My brain is in trouble. Like if they have too much, if they have another year with me, I'm scared. Like I'm scared because I wouldn't be dealing with my own facilities, right? And that's what would make me scared. Like if I have my own facilities, I don't get scared. Like I wouldn't be scared if they're torturing my body and whatever. But they can change like my brain states a lot. And so I forgot what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Yeah, okay, so for me, it's a desperate situation. So I'm sorry if I come off as like, blah, blah, but I want to get going on this. We got big things, right? We got big things happening, you know. And you can just look at how the government's handling this, and you can know that it's them. It's a common sense thing. Because they would be diving all up into it. They would be sending people out into places. They'd be sniffing. They'd be getting different organizations. They'd be every night on the mainstream news. You know, it'd be about this. The Pentagon would be like, we know. The Pentagon would say, we know about these weapons because we have them. We use them just for defense. We would never use them on people. You know, we'd never use them on our own people. We're gonna catch these guys. You know, we didn't even finish that article, guys. Yeah, that's a good idea, Paul. I haven't been putting up new comments. So Paul says there should be a verified, clear, and concise disclosure statement available to all TIs to read off to anyone at any time. Yeah, we need something pretty general. I think that's a good idea because everybody tends to have a lot of like, you know, different ideas about things. I just don't see how I guess I do. From where I'm sitting, I'm like, how can that be that somebody is just like, oh, this can't be the government or something like that, from where I'm sitting. And I want to try and be understanding. I get a little bit, I just react, right? That's why y'all love me, right? That's why y'all love coming to these videos. No, not that time either. There's a bunch of them, and probably by just probability, one of these fruit flies is gonna like land in my fingers. Hold on. If I make the fruit fly think that I'm not looking at him, and then I didn't get it that time. I didn't even see a fruit fly. But I did the first couple of times. That time I didn't. Hey, M. Tanner Kramer says, major victim of forced speech, which has destroyed relationship for years. Yeah, it's got to be so difficult saying stuff. See, they do it to me, but they do it through my brain. Where, like, I've experienced a lot of time on these live streams where I don't want to talk about something, but I'll get an urge to talk about it, and it's not like they're forcing my mouth to say it, my throat to say it. It's like it's almost worse because it's not worse, but it's sucks. Hey, Emily says, "Hi, honeys, how are you all? Please see John 8 channel. Okay, John 8, JOHN 8 channel, Real Russian channel, regarding police violent Melbourne protest, visiting their homes at MSM, etc. overtly. It's going off in Melbourne. Okay. Oh wow. Wow, dude. Real Russian channel." Regarding police violence in the Melbourne protest. There's like every weekend in America, like 20 people are killed in the streets because of protests and everything like that. Maybe it's more than that. They're just making everything chaos. Yeah, they're making everything chaos. If we could get some like people knowing about this mind control, it could stop some people from like just go. They would maybe question what they're thinking, right? And I think that needs to happen with some protesters and Antifa and stuff. Because a lot of these young kids in Antifa, I'm sure they're just psychic driving them to want to do violence or like hate this or hate that. I think they're doing it to everybody. Charles says churches are involved in this crap too. They had an ISMI in a church over here a couple blocks away from my house. Emily said, "Oh my God, I didn't know that." It's hard. Like what you're talking about, Emily. I'm like, oh my God, that's new news to me because like in my country, it's like the protests are going on and people like kids are getting shot and everything for something that they're like, oh, well, this is going to bring equality. It's like we've all got our. It's almost like. Well, I don't want to make a metaphor like that, but it's like we've all got our individual countries being destroyed, and it's like there's so much chaotic news. Hey, Stacy Ti. Stacy Ti says, "Beep beep bop, beep beep bop boop, beep bop boop." Yeah, that's smart, Wayne. Wayne says, Wayne. I should have been saying Wayne Loss because there's another Wayne. Wayne Loss says, "People need to question what they hear, what they think." And what they see, even what they dream. Yeah, I agree, man. I totally agree. Hey, Honey Ann. Honey Ann says, hello. Hello with one L. Is it shorter? It's like, hello. It's like, hello. I think it's like that. I think it's shorter. TI bot family, Stacy. Don't do that. Don't do that, because Brian may say something. It's good to have y'all here. Let's finish that article, guys. Trukism says, nobody stays the same. We evolve as humans. To not allow growth and prosperity is terrorism and not humane. Yeah. But this is the deal, Trukism. This is the deal. Like, and I agree with you. Like, there should be healthy evolution, right? This is still a situation, right, with this targeting. Probably if you're not using the fences, it doesn't feel like this. But since I'm like fighting it with the fences and stuff, it feels like I'm resisting some of the microwave, resisting some of the stuff they're doing to my brain. And we're like some of the first people to maybe evolve. Like the electromagnetic energy our brain's putting out is evolving to defend from this, right? And people are going to be developing these things. That's why they're putting all this nano in everybody, because human beings have a natural evolution function to defend themselves from things, right? That's why they can't just do it like, oh, we'll do it with a unique brainwave signature, but nothing in the person, because people would evolve very, very quickly, and it wouldn't be something that they could use like in the future, right, for all these smart devices and things like that. Oh man, I'm kind of getting nauseous a little bit. Let me drink some Mountain Dew. I actually got this today. Instead of getting a Monster drink, I got a Monster Rehab. I gotta stop drinking these. There's gotta be something addictive in Monster, because I'm like, oh, I could get a Nas, but I'm like, I'm really craving something from Monster. There's gotta be like nanotechnology, some kind of toxins. You're out of here? I was just making a joke. Like, I was just making a joke. Totally making a joke. Why are you leaving, Stacy? I was joking. I was just like trying to think of something when you were saying bots, and that's just what came to mind. It's not. It wasn't. Whatever. Okay, let's get back to this article. It was. I was just trying to think of something funny to say. Like it wasn't. Didn't mean anything. Okay, let's get back to this and see. It's a long article. Wait, this is another one. It's the same one. We kind of got off onto some topics today. Let's go back to. Oop. Okay, let's go back to this. Excuse me. Okay, but whether or not Havana syndrome even exists continues to be hotly debated. It's not clear whether the information we're getting is correct or incorrect, Senator Jeanne Shaheen told Avril Haines, President Joe Biden's Director of National Intelligence. The DHS memo itself notes the precise nature of the injuries suffered by affected personnel has varied, and whether a common cause exists for all individuals, regardless of location, has not yet been established. Proponents of the syndrome's existence and cause, however, point to a National Academies of Science report last year which concluded that the symptoms are real and the most plausible cause is directed pulse radio frequency energy. Hear, hear. Former CIA officials who spoke with The Intercept broadly agreed on the existence of Havana syndrome, but not on its perpetrator, which has been variously attributed in speculation to the Chinese, Russian, or Cuban governments. While the symptoms described are broad, they converge on their neurological focus, often resembling the effects of simple head trauma. And why does it focus on the brain? Like even the stuff, I'm telling you guys, unless you're in a like Marine Corps testing the burning of skin and stuff like that, or another maybe DOD agency, you know, the trauma and the external hits are going to be to torture you so that it changes your brain, so it makes your brain more susceptible to changes, to things, to signals, to receiving signals. Yeah. Oh, okay. So this is pretty far back in the chat, but it's a good comment. Sleeping Beauty says the NSA. Oh, that fruit fly went right in front of my nose and my phone. It's hanging around there. Oh, it's just it landed on the notebook. Sleeping Beauty says the NSA. I swear that somebody in this building put fruit flies in my place so I would look like a loon. Like a jerk on my video. Sleep Beauty says the NSA /CSS cybersecurity service has to know exactly what's going on. I don't know how they couldn't know. Yeah, I mean it's just common sense, guys. It's just if you just think it through, it is the military-industrial complex. Ultra wideband, yeah. I'm way behind in the No, I wasn't saying. I was just joking. Okay, honey Ann. Yeah. No, that's wrong of Brian to do. But he is a targeted individual who's going through really, really tough stuff, you know. So that's also true. And we just have to be like, yeah, everybody's paranoid and wrong about some stuff, you know. Judge U says, Kyle, you can make a simple vinegar funnel trap to catch the fruit fly. Okay. I need to do that. Yeah, I need to do that very soon. Okay, so where was I here? Okay, the DHS memo describes the gamut of reported Havana syndrome effects: an intense, high-pitched, piercing sound followed by unexplained specific medical symptoms, including hearing loss, dizziness, ring in the ears, tinnitus-like sound, balance problems, fatigue, trouble concentrating, and vision changes. Anyone experiencing those symptoms is encouraged to notify DHS Workforce Health and Safety and the Chief Medical Officer. So I've got to alert him. So I'm going to have to go to my local DHS Fusion Center and walk in and be like, do I need to get a job here so that y'all will, so that I can report being hit by microwave weapons? Ooh, I don't know if y'all saw that flag over there. Okay, or to immediately alert the Department of State Missions Health Unit and Regional Security Officer. So is that who? Have any of you guys been contacting the Department of State? Wayne Law says, Kyle, I would like to ask you guys about COVID. How many of you have gotten COVID? I think the stuff we are getting hit with somehow blocks or kills the virus. That's interesting. I haven't gotten it, and I don't really get sick a lot. I have that the autoimmune disorder Crohn's, and I thought that was the reason. I haven't gotten sick a lot since I was a kid, like colds and stuff. I think you're right. I think you're on to something with that. I think you're right about that. Hey, little Allison. I think you could be right about that, Wayne. It can like cultivate a virus or bacteria, electromagnetic frequencies, or it can kill it, right? So it depends on probably all of us. If they're hitting us a certain way, it wouldn't be cultivating the virus. Yeah. No, who did somebody at my family got the vaccine, the jab? Sorry, the jab. Um, my mom, my dad, my aunt did, but nobody's gotten sick. No, there was one guy, but he's not even part of my family, and he lives out like in the country where my grandma and grandpa used to have a place, and he's like kind of my grandma's sister's. I don't really, he's extended family that I don't really get with a lot. Like I don't ever visit with him, but I think he's like my cousin or my third cousin or something. He apparently got it. But it was just a story that I heard, how he got real sick and stuff. And I think that people were getting the regular flu, um, you know. No, Stacy says, Kyle, did you hear about the Havana Cry Out protest? No, I haven't. I haven't. When's that going to be? Okay, so one of Havana Syndrome's most prominent skeptics, Sharon Weinberger, DC bureau chief for Yahoo News and formerly an editor at The Intercept, has maintained that there are myriad other potential explanations for the symptoms and that no leading theory has been established in a peer-reviewed journal. The author of Imaginary Weapons, A Journey Through the Pentagon Scientific Underworld. This person, this Weinberger is an expert on directed energy weapons and has argued that known microwave weapons in the public, like known microwave weapons in the public, are far too large to operate covertly and unable to penetrate walls. So she's talking about active denial systems. This lady is not a directed energy weapon expert. Compared to her, all of us are leading experts. She's a moron. This lady Weinberger is a moron compared to all of us and the things that we know about microwave weapons. She's going on the knowledge that the public has about active denial systems. This person should never even have been able to comment. The DC bureau chief for Yahoo News, whatever, and formerly an editor at The Intercept. All these. Well, I won't get into that because we need. Okay, so we're almost done with art. Okay. So, talks with retired CIA officials have revealed I don't think we are almost done with art. Talks with retired CIA officials have revealed a deficit of trust between personnel and the agency's Office of Medical Services. As The Intercept reported earlier this year, CIA headquarters received jabs for COVID-19 as soon as they were available in early January, while officers working overseas had to wait for months, to the consternation of many. That distrust, while understandable, can lead personnel to seek out their own answers in the absence of any scientific consensus. I don't even, what did I just read? That distrust, while understandable, can lead personnel to seek out their own answers in the absence of any scientific consensus. CIA received... DHS, for its part, appears interested in keeping emerging medical reports within official channels. Was that the last sentence? Was that the last sentence? That's the last sentence. That's the last sentence of the article. That's all we needed to know right there. Let me show you guys. This sentence. DHS, for its part and purposes, appears interested in keeping emerging medical reports within official channels. There you go. They're looking to make sure who's reporting it and where, and so they can cover up any that are too much, right? Or any that are gonna blow the thing. No, I'm just reading this article. Yeah, I'm just reading this article. When I'll do another live stream and we can talk about that. When is it? Hey, True Serum. When is that? Okay, so Stacy says end of the month and July 1st and 2nd. Okay. It's called, what is it called? Havana Cry Out Protest. Havana Cry Out Protest. And they're going to slap that moniker on us, huh? Just like they slapped the moniker of targeted individual on us, they're going to slap this moniker in the public of Havana Syndrome when this is like happening in every country. Like, it's like we have to go with it. Like, we have to use those terms because that's how the public's going to recognize it. But by doing so, by trying to help yourself and use a word that the public will recognize, it completely washes their mind of what it really is, you know. These intelligence agencies are just like, they're gonna blow up the world. Gonna do worse than that, you know. Okay, it's at the end of the month. Can you put it? Yeah, you can't put links in the chat. That's something new. It's something new that nobody, unless you're a mod or something. Can you maybe email it to me? Can you just email it to me? So wait. I just want to read what you just said, Wayne. And I'm just not going to... That's what I'm saying. It's odd. There's something there that we need to investigate and document because the tech, it's doing something it's not what they plan to do, which is protect us. Oh, you're saying the tech is, it's not what they plan to do. They plan on hurting you, but the tech is protecting you or something? Or they plan to protect us and they're hurting us actually? Which one are you saying? Okay, I'm not sure. Like, I thought you meant they meant to protect us with this technology, but it's accidentally hurting us or something like that. But I could tell you that's not true in my protocol. But there are protocols where they're making people, they're like hitting them with very positive frequencies and resonating their brain in very positive frequencies and almost giving them like extra energy and stuff like that. But those people, like, they're not going to come out and be like, I'm being hit with direct energy and I'm extra great, you know? They ain't going to do that. No, I can't see it. Can you just send it to my email? Oh, okay, Wayne, I was reading that wrong. Sorry, bro. You said about the CV thing. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. I totally misread that. Yeah. Wayne Law says, no, I was answering to Jennifer about being off, that she hasn't gotten sick since her targeting got crazy. Yeah, and I haven't either. I haven't gotten a cold or a flu or anything like that. And what, you know, that Andrew Kaufman, the doctor Andrew Kaufman, he said when you get hit with microwaves, like from radar or something like that, or anything, and you're basically showered with microwaves, like a lot of them, your body will have this reaction, and you'll release toxins, you'll release exosomes, right? And when you're releasing exosomes from your system, that's when you get sick, right? So we, like us being targeted, we may have already released all those exosomes, and we just don't have any to release, because that's how you get sick, right? Yeah, yeah, thank you, Nadia. Yeah, I totally misread that, totally. Havana syndrome cry out. Okay, Havana syndrome cry out. Just type that in Google. All right, let me find it real quick. Yeah, Wayne says that's why it's worth documenting that, because it goes against what they are supposedly doing to us, which is kill. Yeah, yeah. But that's a very small thing. Like, you don't get a virus. I haven't had a, knock on wood, I haven't had a Crohn's flare up since I've been targeted. Right? So it's like doing something to my autoimmune system where it's keeping my autoimmune system busy. So, like, I haven't gotten a flare up of Crohn's. Should I thank my attacker? I still hate my attackers. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, Honey Ann says, I just don't know how much more my body can take, guys. I'm 53 and I feel 90. Let me pull that up. Let me. Havana syndrome cry out. Is it like a targeted individual organization? Or is it just a big, is it like a huge, beyond just the targeted individual community? So I gotta remember to share the screen. Havana syndrome. Wow, this is awesome. Oh, this is awesome. This is really good. Okay, let me share my screen, guys. Ooh, I need to do, because we're already at like, we're only at 2.5 hours? Wow. Seems like more time has passed by. Maybe my neurons are firing faster. It's these fruit flies. This is awesome, y'all. Thank you, Stacy. Look at this. Look at this. This is good. I don't want no cookies. Where's this gonna? No way. This is huge. This is huge. Havana syndrome cry out. I don't like the name, right? But Havana syndrome cry out for big. Let's stand out. Urgent information to the public. Dude, this is what she's doing. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew Susan Collins was going to do something. Like, because she, like, knows. You can tell when she talks about this stuff. Is this by her? Who is this by? This is awesome. Thank you, Stacy. Look, Cry Out Rally page. This page is set up for individuals to join in, demonstrate, to acknowledge the public. Whoa. This page is set up for individuals to join in. Is that me, or is that the word? This page is set up for individuals to join in, demonstrate, to acknowledge the public that people have the weapons to attack individuals globally, including inside the United States. Please sign up if you are interested in helping our cause and exposing the criminals using these weapons on citizens across the globe. Was this who did this? This is awesome. This is great. Lauren Birch. That's so awesome. Welcome to the Cry Out Rally page. Here you can find information on joining the Cry Out in the United States and different parts of the world. Let's utilize our time by coming together on a monthly basis and help our leaders know the targeting of citizens with the Havana syndrome. You can mail us directly. How do we transition that, though? Like, I always, because we got stuck with targeted individual, you know? How do we transition Havana syndrome into what it actually is? That's going to be so hard. Once we get it stuck in the public's mind, is this, Havana syndrome, it's gonna be hard. Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and I said Lauren. Yes. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lauren. I think I'm getting tired. I'm misunderstanding what people are texting now. It's confusing me. Hey, but look at this. Global activism victims of Havana syndrome cry out. Weekday, weekend. You guys can see this, right? June 29th through 30th, 2021. July 1st through 2nd, 2021. Scheduled time 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Call TI Advocate Organizer Lauren M. Birch. Volunteer captains for each state. Location in front of each state capitol building across the globe. Fighting to expose organized stalking. It says June 29th. That's like in a month. Fighting to expose organized stalking, covert harassment, cyber torture, and criminal assaults with radio frequency directed microwave weapons and improvised directed energy devices. Weekdays, weekend crying out to U.S. global presidents and prime ministers, leaders, congressional leaders, U.S. and state, governors, CIA, FBI, federal, all medical, healthcare professionals and facilities, house of worship, journalists, and media outlets, civilians. That's great. That's great. What to bring: face mask, loud voices, full hearts, resource material to hand out. We don't, here in Baton Rouge, we don't have to wear face masks anymore. Who should attend, who to invite? All targeted individuals, family activists, advocates, general public whom cares about the greater good. Please join us at the Capitol building and make your voices heard, even if you're the only one. So I need to talk to some people. I don't know if I can organize it, but I would definitely help. Just go out to the state capitol. State capitol in my area is just, it's like all the way downtown. It's almost like an hour drive. It's probably like 30 minutes or something like that. Lori says each state is awesome. I agree. I agree. Alright guys, I'm getting tired. Yeah, Stacy says lots of TIs are using the term Havana syndrome since they use similar weapons on us. Yeah, I mean, I get that. I know where it came from, but it's not good because it's like, it's propaganda where it positions, somebody's thinking Havana syndrome and then they just think of Cuba, right? That's why they did that. That's how propaganda works. It wants to lead people's mind to a certain place. They say Havana syndrome instead of like world microwave torture. If they use worldwide microwave torture, then everybody in every people, when you told them worldwide microwave torture, they'd be like, oh, it's happening worldwide. You tell people Havana syndrome, and they're like, oh, that's happening in Havana. Dude, I gotta get a haircut soon. Gotta get a haircut on this. No, that's awesome. Okay, and then you couldn't put it in chat, but you guys saw it, y'all. I'll put the link too in the description. Yeah, Erica says there's a Black Ops budget too. Yes, most definitely. Thank you, Stacy. And Judge Yu says if TIs truly get sick less often than the average person, the likely reason is because TIs are isolated due to targeting and in contact with less people less often. Could be one of the factors. I do think there's something, though, to what Wayne Moss said. It makes you, if you look at Andrew Kaufman's work, Dr. Andrew Kaufman, who talked with, like, Richie from Boston, I don't even know if any of those videos are up, but he talks about it, how, like, in the Russian flu, when power lines went up, the Spanish flu was when radar went up, and people got really, really sick, right? Because their body was releasing exosomes that are like stored in your cells. Yeah, Sleep Muse says it would be nice to see flyers posted at medical facilities. Yeah, so people would know. People who are going into the medical facilities, if they're targeted or they're getting symptoms, they would know to look into this. Yeah, Stacy says, but the CIA agents are covered under the Havana Act too. Yeah, it's true. Hmm. Since Sacramento in California, so is it just at the state capitals? So I go to the Louisiana state capital is in my city. Like I live in the capital city of Louisiana. Um, I don't think I'm gonna be able to organize it. I guess we could just go out to the Capitol building on those dates. You know, people in Baton Rouge. I'll talk to some people. I don't know. Okay, Trueism says Kyle go to rightstand.org. Okay, rightstand.org. Is that another one? Dude, this stuff is just, it's like blowing up. Everybody's going to be having demonstrations and everything. It's just all coming out. It's all coming out. What was I looking for? Okay, I'm really getting tired, guys. Let me look this up and then I might have to jump off here. I have to just jump off the internet for a little while. Rightstand.org. It's not anything bad, huh? This fruit flies tired me out. See, they thought that that was a total joke again. Okay, so right stand, standing together for what's right. Let me show you. Okay, let's go. Oh, this is a great site too. This is great, guys. No, Honey Ann says, thanks, Cheryl. I'll shut up now. I'm not a crier. You know that. Well, I don't want to read all that, but dude, this is so hard. Stacy, it is fruit flies. Like I know. But no, it's really fruit flies. Me and my dad cleaned in here, and it made I have some gang stalks to do it. They're really fruit flies. I don't hallucinate much with my targeting or anything. They've made me see like glowing balls of light that look like they're far away and they go up, right? Or like weird like green and I don't know. I guess it's kind of purple reddish lights in my eyes, but it's not like it's like I'll see like I can tell like in my left eye it'll be like a reddish purplish thing that's not supposed to be there, but nothing like not seeing anything. It's Tinkerbell because I'm Peter Pan. Because I'm gonna remain eternally young. Hey Rose, how are you doing? Yeah, Eric and Eric, it's drone fruit flies, a little catch one, and I'll get the little nanotechnology in them. No, I think they're just regular fruit flies. I do. I have a lot of like I'll drink cold drinks and then I put them up here. I'll put them on this little desk thing right here, so I'm sure that's why they're there. And they're like sweet sugary things. It's funny because like I remember Steven Shellen making like one of his first TI videos. I don't know if it was one of his first ones, but it's like one of the first ones that I could, as far back as I could go to see him first talking about it. And he was in a place that had all these fruit flies flying around, and he looked crazy talking about it. Like I knew that he wasn't crazy talking about it, but he looked pretty crazy. Wayne Law says, Kyle, what kind of phosphenes do you see when you close your eyes and press lightly with your finger? Well, right now we can't do that, Wayne Law, because I got this lighting set up, right? Like I put my lighting so that you guys can see me a little bit better and it looks better. So when I do that, I'm getting the circular lights. So it's not really a good time. I do it sometimes before I go to sleep, and I get like a purplish red or green, depending on like on different times. and it's like a big glop. It's not like, and then, but I will get like little dots. I don't pay attention to that. So, like my stuff is so blunt force trauma. Like I mean, they're doing such big things, like making, like I'll think of something or I'll take a medication and it's like, whew, like I know that they have just wiped that memory if I just took the medication or not. Like I mean, like a minute ago, right? So we got to get this done quick. I'm gonna have to probably. I don't want to talk about leaving or anything. Um, but it's hard when your cognitive facilities are so bad, and we won't talk about that. Lori says, I watched The Spark last week. Didn't like the end about Mars and clones. Ah, I didn't know. You spoiled it, Laurie. You spoiled it for me. Spoiler alert. We gotta watch it. We'll watch it on the we'll watch it. We'll have a movie night and we'll watch that. We'll watch like educational things or inspirational things. Hey, later, Laura. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming so much. Is he on his channel? Is he Stacy says I think Nappy is fed up. He sounds like it. What's his channel? The Real Nap? I need to check up and see what's going on with him. I haven't been watching anybody who's a target lately. Because I can't, like, they're not recommended to me. Like, even, like, Kevin Christian I'm subscribed to. Brian I'm subscribed to. Michael, you know Michael. Michael. Like, Michael. But it's like I don't get any kind of notifications for any of them, and I'll forget. I'll forget that they're putting out stuff. But everybody check out Autumn New Zealand Target Individual. She puts out great stuff. Nappy. What's his channel name? Is it just oh yeah, okay. Thanks, Truekism. Sorry about that. Let me go to that. I forgot. I totally forgot. You see, that's the thing. That's what happened. On here, it's like I'm paying attention to a lot of stuff, so they don't have to try so hard to make me forget stuff. But it's pretty scary. Okay, here we go. Right stand, standing together for what's right. So rightstand.org. I'll also put this in the description too. Okay, wait. Did you know innocent civilians are being tortured with directed energy devices? Microwave energy devices are utilized to target fellow human beings. Wow, this is great. This is a really good website. Dude, you see these professional websites and these protests, these huge protests. Report shows, I want to stop on here. Report shows that 70% of victims are single females and young mothers. That means that women are intentionally targeted for cruel sexual games. I actually think that it's a lot of factors, and that's one of them. But you hear Brian say he's right about this. That women are more emotionally connected to their environment. So when you're doing things like gang stalking or certain things, it's like they're more emotionally they're connected to their environments like a suit way more than men. Which is like a special, I mean, it's like something really good. It's like something really good that women are better than men at, that they try and like turn it on them. But I think I think the bigger factor would probably be sexual. Oh, Stacey says, call me nappy targeted individual. Okay. Yeah, I think I knew about that channel. Yeah, Wayne Law says, so you guys see this, rightstand.org. This is an organization, I don't know how big they are, but look, share your story, the site map, contact us. Let's go to that. Let's go to contact us. We need to just do a live stream on this website. We just go through it, and we just we'll search on it and see. Okay, so you can get in touch with these guys, rightstand.org. For some of you guys who, we all need help, but maybe we can get help from these guys. Where is that? Kansas City? That's in Kansas City? Or is that where I am? Sorry guys, I'm really tired. So you can donate to him right there. You can donate to me too. Just throw the money. Just throw the nickels at me. Wayne Law says Kevin Christian is legit, but I don't think he is right about his neighbors. But he knows a lot about what the gang stalkers do visually. No wonders he gets hell, but that will hopefully change soon. Yeah, I hope so too. Man, Wayne Lost, if you talk to Kevin Christian or comment in his his comment section, like tell him to talk about the Senate Intelligence Committee. Just tell him, like, he doesn't even have to like get articles or something, but just tell him to talk about it. Like, oh, they're finding out all these government workers are being hit by it, the Havana syndrome and all this, because we need him talking about it. Yeah, yeah. Emily says I agree to that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Wayne Law says look out for Charlie. It's on a roll. He's good. Yeah, look out for Charlie's awesome, guys. Check him out. Has he been talking about this? Ah, that's like I forgot. Like look out for Charlie. Like I've used his cleansing protocols and everything. Yeah, Laurie Smith says look out for Charlie's amazing, showing how you can record the sounds. Most definitely. Hmm. Okay, True Kism says go to who we are. Let's do that. Our calls. Where? So this place is in Kansas City. It's great, man. So this is that. Whoa, there's a lot of. Let's watch this one. Wait. Okay, let me read this, guys. I gotta jump off here. Okay, cyber torture and coordinated stalking have a long and sordid history in the UK, the US, and other countries around the world. However, many had never heard of either of these tactics until actress Leah Remini shared her own personal experiences, including that of others in her circle in the documentary series entitled Scientology in the Aftermath. In this documentary, coordinated stalking and some forms of cyber torture are referred to as the fair game law. And I think that, intelligence agencies probably, what's his name? Dude, I can't even remember that guy's name. The guy who's the head of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, like he was in the OSS, so they were probably using some of these tactics. They use them in Scientology, and they kind of learn from each other, like in this, kind of stepping stone. Oh man, I'm having really a lot of heart. I gotta get off, guys. This is awesome. These two things that y'all put in the chat are awesome. In October 2017, a huge story related to these types of intimidation techniques appeared in the news. It was the terrible scandal involving Hollywood film executive Harvey Weinstein, who sexually assaulted more than 80 women over 30 years and then went to extraordinary lengths to neutralize them to not dare speak out against them. Using Black Q, which is ex-Israeli military forces, ex-Mossad forces, who are like silencing innocent women, using microwave torture, using surveillance, using tactics that our military-industrial complex uses for private, for hire. Wow, oh dude. Okay, but these tools and tactics have not only been utilized on celebrities, they have been used on ordinary people as well. In 2011, for instance, the Sedgwick County Court Panel in Kansas had to issue a first-of-its-kind protection order to James Walbert, banning his former business partner for using electronic means to harass him. This is a case involving extremely sophisticated technology. These are not isolated cases. There have been more of such cases involving the use of high-tech devices. Click here for more examples. This is really good. Oh, they're in Paris? That's their main office is in Paris? thought they were in Kansas. So they got a like a regional place here in Kansas. That's really cool. I'll put this in the description, guys, so y'all can see it. Let me put it in there real quick. Right stand. .org. Rightstand.org. Hey, thank you for coming, Lori. Yes, Emily says check out Susie Dawson's Susie 3D channel. She started a Discord channel, IS against Five Eyes. Yes, that's a great name, because we need to be the Five Eye companies are the main military industrial complexes doing this to their citizens, but they ally themselves with smaller countries, exchanging technology for data, and they let some of their contractors, like the Five Eyes country contractors, will go to smaller countries that they're allied with, and they'll experiment on their people. With Ray McGovern, etc., regarding their targeting crimes. Okay, cool. Lookout for Charlie doesn't think that this is the military-industrial complex? Well, I mean, look at this. Okay, look at the situation of James Walbert. He was attacked by a business partner. You know, it happens. It's not the main thing. It's not the 95% of targeted individuals. You know, it is the government. All right, guys, I gotta get off of here. Get tired. I appreciate all the links, guys, and I hope this article helped. And I'll finish putting all the links in the description. Love you guys. Oh yeah, Judge Judy said Walbert's case was dismissed. Are you sure he didn't get a settlement, Judge Judy? He may got. There's been settlements. There have been settlements where then people were targeted. That I can't remember. Richard Kane. Richard Kane got a settlement because he had the implants, right? But then he was still targeted afterwards, and I think he even had a stroke from it. What's it? Yeah, Jack says stalking and harassment are illegal regardless of the tools, though. Yeah, most definitely. We'll maybe look through that some more on another one, Truchism. I gotta get my attackers are just jumbling my brain up. Xerxes A says can tell you how to crush the stalking. Okay, so email Xerxes if you want to crush the stalking. Okay, so Truchism says okay, so cybertorture.ca. Man, there's just websites galore. It's just coming out. They're doing damage control. I think when we look at these mainstream articles and it's like, oh, DHS fusion centers, blah blah, they're just doing damage control now. Like every country's going to start doing damage control, and it's done. So guys, you guys, and well, me too. I'm like, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it to get there sometimes. Like right now, I feel better, like being on this video, but we gotta keep going. We're so close. We're so close. Emily says James Walbert included in Wikipedia BS about electronic harassment. They reckon he persuaded the courts to ban it without stating his hard evidence. Yeah. Yeah, I think they, like, somebody comes to the court who's like, part of an intelligence agency, and they're like, you can't rule on the, you can't do, because this is national security. These technologies are national security. So like I think they on the really bad cases where the targeted individual has so much evidence in like implants, and they've gotten implants out of their children, and they've gotten documentation by the people who took the implants out, then they'll like, some of these intelligence agencies will come in, they'll end up doing a settlement, right? But then they won't even stop targeting them. What was that? Cheryl says the guy that asked for his rent to be paid every month, Kyle. What's that? Cheryl says the guy that asked for his rent to be paid every month. What's that mean? Craig Brown says remote drone monitoring is big here in South Carolina. This is so big everywhere. I think Montana is pretty, doesn't have a lot of people. Is it stopping? I'm gonna kind of get off here, guys. Love you guys. Thanks for coming. Really, Judge said Walbert's case was dismissed. He filed pro se. He attempted to sue for $10 million. All right, guys. I love y'all. We'll do another one soon. Thank you for coming, everybody. I hope the information helped. And I'm gonna put the two things. Oh man. What was it? I'll put them up. What Stacy sent for, and I can't remember the names of things right now. I'll put them up, and we'll do this again soon, guys. I love you guys. All right.